Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 15 of the Hall of Gamers podcast. This week, I am joined by the technical master of wizardry, Cameron.
Hey.
And the maddest Michael of all time.
Heyo.
This week, we're probably going to talk about some controversy, some mini fridges, and I guess, maybe some video games at some point, but we'll see how it goes. But Cameron's going to seamlessly transition us to a song of the week. When I wake up in a haunted house and see a ghost that wants my eyes and jump scares without warning notes, I'm just trying to survive. Then I run from you, but the front door is jammed. Looking round for you, and I know it's gonna be a spooky horror game, 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 spooky horror game.
All right, straight off the bat, I don't know it.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
To nobody's surprise.
It's a classic.
Is it? Or have you just done a horrible rendition?
Oh, no, it's a great rendition. Are you kidding me? Charlotte got it straight away.
Wait a minute, I can cheat. Where? Wait, no, I don't see it. Wait, no, never mind. I know what it is, I just can't remember.
I can cheat. I'm going to get the answer of Charlotte, who hasn't put it in the chat.
No, Charlotte has not put it in the chat. But does anyone? Okay, Charlotte, do you want to tell everyone? Because apparently no one knows what. Oh, see, there we go. Yeah, Lovely Day by Bill Withers.
Never heard it.
See, I knew it. I just couldn't remember the name of it. I'm terrible.
I'll be honest.
Names.
I've never heard it.
Oh, mate, you got to listen to it. It's a great. Bill Withers is great.
All right, I'll play it right now on the stream.
Yeah, go for it. Yeah, just get us DMCA to hell. Perfect. All right. Well, with that catastrophe out of the way, let's get into the housekeeping. We'll start with our Discord. Discord.io/RealGamerscore is the place for you to come out and hang out with us and our community. If you don't know what Discord is, it's basically a big chat channel where we have various sub-channels around like the podcast, competitions, Magic the Gathering, memes, pretty much anything you're kind of interested in. And if you have enough interest in something and it bothers enough people, they'll probably get a new channel made for you. So, if you want to come in and cause some ruckus, go ahead. We've also got our Twitch, which we're streaming on live at the moment. Hall of Gamers Pod is the Twitch channel. We do this usually every Friday. Today is a Saturday. We made a special exception for Mike.
Thank you.
because apparently, she has kids and like responsibilities and other.
These damn Americans expect everything done for themselves.
I know, right? I was doing the conversion, and I was like, we usually stream at like 8:30, 8:30 p.m. on a Friday, and like that's only like 12:30 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Like, come on, people, just stay up or get up.
That's actually 4 o'clock in the morning. For where I am.
Yeah. No. Yeah. So that's why you always catch the tail end of the podcast, right?
Pretty much. I'm waking up, one eye kind of half open. I'm like, oh, they're on. I can catch a second. Oh, damn it, they're son of a.
I mean, look. I could do a few hours later if you want, and then Matt would be like, what? Like
I'll take a nap. Yeah, at 1 a.m. Yeah, sure, exactly. Fuck, that sounds awful. Man, sometimes that daylight savings week was rough, where it was like, we're gonna start at 9 and not finish till like midnight. It's
like 1 week where it's like 3 hours off. If it was RGS though, we would have went on for like longer.
Oh yeah, absolutely. No, that would have turned into a 2 a.m. podcast. People would have loved it. We've also got our Patreon, patreon.com/Hall of Gamers. Patreon's a place where you can give us some money so we can help do the show, keep the lights on, run competitions, get better equipment, things like that. We really, really appreciate our Patrons. We literally could not do the show without them. And as thanks for people who do subscribe to us, we've got 3 different tiers of so you don't have to give us all your money, just some of it. We do a separate podcast called Lights, Camera, and Action. Still the best podcast name that Charlotte ever came up with, that I stole.
And still the most horrible movies that we've ever watched.
Absolutely, yeah. So the idea behind the podcast is that I've seen a lot of movies. Cameron has not. And we usually, talk about the movie beforehand, go away and watch it, and then come back and talk about, what we think about it. we've been primarily doing video game movies to start with. And so we just finished recording the second part of our Dead Rising Watchtower review, and we actually quite enjoyed it. It's all basically just getting edited and probably come out later this week. If you're listening to this, the recorded version on Tuesday, it'll probably be out around the same time. And we also recorded the first part of our next episode, episode 10, which is Street Fighter the movie, which I've watched, and we've also got a special guest on for that episode. Cameron, have you watched it yet?
No, me and Nikita are planning to watch it together sometime this weekend.
It's a fucking riot. I don't mind. Like, what do you think about video game movies? Have you seen a lot of them?
Yeah, I've seen a lot of them. The Street Fighter, the original one, yeah, that's my childhood right there.
Okay, Jean-Claude Van Damme and Raul Julia.
Oh my god, yeah.
Oh, it's so fucking cheesy. It was even better than I remembered it when I was watching it. I had such a great time watching it again.
I'm gonna cringe.
Like, the main, it had like the main guy who played in the Addams Family as
Bison.
The big,
Raul Julia. And he does the eyes, and he's just. Oh god, there's that scene, and I was like, wait for it, and there's a scene where he's like in front of the amazing painting of himself on a horse, and it's like the whole aesthetic of the movie is great. But anyway, I don't want to spoil the stuff. That's for our patrons only.
I'm just worried when I watch it, then Nikita's gonna chime in every 5 seconds and go, Addams Family this, Addams Family that, because it's a favorite movie.
Oh, it was worse. It was worse for me because I was like, oh look, that's a thing from the video game. Oh, that's a thing from the video game. Oh look, there's the Capcom logo on the barrel. Oh, oh look, it's like for some reason E Honda is Hawaiian instead of like a Japanese sumo wrestler.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, yeah, it's kind of a nightmare, but I love it. But again, that's only for the patrons. You probably guess what my opinion is of the movie, but the first 4 episodes are also available for free for anyone who wants to go check them out to get an idea of what it's like. We try to do them like once or twice a month. We're trying to speed up a little bit on them. Because we do want to give back to the patrons because they like we said, they do really make this show possible. We could not do it without them.
And like when we're going through all our material, we want to do some other non-video game related movies.
Absolutely, and you know if we ever do that ridiculous business podcast idea that we keep pitching on the show.
I mean, like I'm at the last module of my course now. Like we could do it.
Oh yeah, look, it'll be the Dumb and Dumber stream of trying to explain business.
Are people going to sit around for us like talking for an hour and a half though about A/B testing?
I mean, sure, yeah. I mean, I like to think that we would start with marketing and be like, oh, you know, we know a little bit about this, and then go into like economics or accounting or something that we have no real fucking knowledge of. Because that's kind of what happened with video games, right? We know a little bit about video games, but we know nothing about movies.
Yeah.
We've also got our Patreon contest. Cameron, how's that going?
So Patreon contest, pretty much just to explain what it is, we have 3 different games for you to pick on. Basically, you get a prize, like whoever gets drawn at the end of the month gets a prize, but the caveat is the community gets to pick what you get. So basically goes, what's the most popular game for the month? We actually have Castlevania Advanced Collection sitting at 5, Golf Club Wasteland sitting at 4, and Elder's Blood Definitive Edition with absolutely no votes at all because nobody's ever heard of it.
Fair. I mean, that's marketing at work, right?
Yeah. But, yeah, I mean, like, Castlevania, like, no surprise. But, yeah, end of the month, we'll draw 1 lucky winner. And then, look, if they already own Castlevania Advance, they'll get Golf Club, or we can organize something for them. We're pretty reasonable in that kind of regard.
Yeah, and depending on your Patreon tier, you actually get more entries into the competition. So if tier 1 is 1 entry, tier 2 is 2, 3 is 3. You kind of get it. Yeah. We'll draw that one next week on the 29th.
Sweet.
All right. We've also got the Hall of Gamers Word Challenge, or I would say that, but I still haven't come up with a new clue, and we only can afford to do it when we get paid out by the patrons. So I'll try and have a new one ready for next week. I got to come up with some really unhelpful clues and some a really, really obscure game that no one's heard of. I need to make it a game that I haven't played, because I'm sure that half the people just go through my log and just be like, well, he's played less than 2,000 games. Let's try and narrow it down from there.
We'll do something from like the Sega Saturn or...
Yeah, exactly. Do something that's not Xbox related. That's a great idea. All right. Well, thank you for being patient there, Mike. Let's get into talking about you and who you are and what do you do. So tell us a little bit about yourself. You know.
Basically just achievement hunter. You know, I love to achievement hunt with my kids. I think that's the one thing that stands out with me a lot. Like me and my oldest actually hunt for like the really hard stuff. Like it can be really fun. And then there's a lot of stupid games we play as well together, but just have an absolute blast doing it. Been an achievement hunter for a very, very long time.
Yeah, you're kind of creeping up on 900,000, right?
I think I'm like 2K away from it, something like that.
Easy. There's a couple of baby games.
Oh, I'm so tired of baby games. There's so many more to do too. That's the sad part.
Well, yeah, because you've got quite the backlog, don't you?
Oh, and a humongous. Who doesn't though? Well, Fire, because you know he's crazy. But
yeah, sure.
Fire's the exception.
Yeah, Shane last week.
Fire's the exception.
we brought him on to show us all up on how you actually should be playing your games.
Pretty much, yeah.
But you're also a bit of a completionist, right? I mean, you've finished a fair few games, and you know, actually, like you actually tend to like sit down and finish a game, which is actually quite impressive because I've seen some of the stuff you've done. I talked a little bit last week around like how I go and look at a game, and when I'm considering whether to play it or not, I'm always like, Firehawk's done it. Well, that doesn't mean anything. He does everything. And I'm like, Cameron's done it. Oh, it must be really easy. But somewhere in the middle, I'm like, Valek's done it. Okay, maybe. And then I'm like, Mike's done it. I'm like, I don't know. I might need to see some more results on that because you're like, that game was easy. Don't worry about it. I'm like, you've got like arthritic joints and like, like. I don't understand how it's like you're like, oh, that's easy. I'm like, how do you think that makes me feel? When I'm like, this is the hardest game I've ever played in my entire life.
I got special gloves I wear to help with the arthritis. Okay, you gotta push for the pain, man. You just gotta finish and complete. So you do what you gotta do.
Fair.
You gotta bug your kids to help you. Smash that A button. Brought them into this world, get a little extra help.
They owe you.
That's an interesting point, though. Like you wear gloves to help with yours, with your hands while you're gaming.
I ended up actually breaking down because, like in AHA, we have this book club. Okay, like you know about like the book club where we pick a game every month and then everybody sits down and plays it, and we kind of help each other through it, kind of thing. Like any kind of tips or tricks in that. Well, they decided to pick Bayonetta. And that's a button masher. So I'm sitting there in my hands, I'm just like crippled like this, like, oh God, how the frig am I gonna freaking complete this? And my oldest is like, I got this. So I'm sitting down watching her play this, and she's just smashing the buttons, evil maniacally giggling. I'm very proud. But
raise them right, yep.
Exactly. And I'm sitting there, and she's just like, "Oh, Mom, this isn't hard." And you got it on the hardest difficulty, and I'm like, you can eat the candy. She's, I got this, Ma. I got this.
I mean, that must be a really mixed feeling. You're like, wow, I'm really proud, but also like kind of like fuck you a little bit.
Well, no. Speaking of arthritis, okay. Recently, we have been playing Fable Heroes. Okay, Valek.
Yeah, no, I heard about you guys playing Fable Heroes. Yeah, I did hear about this. Yeah.
I have to put more salt in that.
I think somebody's still sour about that.
No, but it's fine. Don't worry about it. It's fine. It's not like I wanted to play through it or anything, or I needed some help. It's fine. Yeah, you guys already got a team together. I get what it's like. I've played dodgeball before. Always the last person picked.
We love you, Neo, but I'm not running through that game again. Oh hell no. No.
Fair.
But anyway, though, there is this one achievement where you have to beat this minecart in like 14 seconds, like under 14 seconds. So we're all sitting there, everybody's mashing the buttons. You can just hear the furious mashing in the freaking microphones. Everyone's like grunting and sweating. You can just hear the sweat beating off of us. All right. And then I'm getting closer and closer and closer to that line. And then finally, I'm the first one to get it. And everyone's just kind of quiet in the party for a second. And I'm just like, how is the woman with arthritis whooping your all asses right now? Like, how is this possible?
I could just imagine Nev questioning that too.
I was in the party with that, and it was so funny because all I'm hearing is like, I'm playing something completely different because you guys didn't want to play with me. And like I just hear this like I'm just like, Jesus Christ, like what the hell's going on over there? I'm like, okay, clearly they're working on the minecart bit because I've done that achievement. And like Nev's like looking up a guide being like, okay, there's a trick where like if you join like halfway through it, like you can like it resets the counter and you all get the achievement. And Mike's like, oh no, I'm done. Don't worry about it. And they're all like, are you fucking kidding me?
I don't think they've even gotten it yet. That's the funny thing.
No, they still haven't done it.
I still gotta just rub that little salt in there, just a wee little bit,
Oh yeah, that really is the Achievement Hunter Anonymous community. Is that just they love you, but also they're
out to get you.
They are absolutely out to get
God,
you.
we have to. If we're not asshole to you, then we don't like you. It's as simple
true.
as that.
That's right. I really try to bring some of that energy onto the podcast, because I really appreciate the community over there.
We're a bunch of dorks, but lovable dorks. We're a dysfunctional family. It's pretty much
exactly.
it.
Lefty's gonna help you.
Lefty said he'll help me out with Fable Heroes. I appreciate that, Lefty. I've got most of it done. I just have to get the team together.
I mean, those gold ranks really are not that hard, man.
No, they're usually not. It's just kind of a pain. It's good having like 4 people so you don't have the bots going and stealing all your coins and shit.
This is true.
If they ever fix the smart glass achievement, then I'll actually.
They have a smart glass achievement in there in Heroes.
Not in Heroes, in like one.
In Anniversary, right?
Oh, and the one I don't have.
Yeah.
Like,
because I only will start it like if I want to go for a serious completion now.
For sure.
Wait, you complete games?
Depending. I was gonna go back to what Matt. I was gonna go back to what Matt said before and go. Oh, and Forza Horizon.
And
the caveat.
Yes, exactly.
That's where most of my hours go, but yeah.
True. So in terms of like your gaming history, like what did you start with? Like, did you start young?
I started very, very young. So an Atari is actually the first thing I ever really kind of somewhat started playing on. And I didn't really start playing games until the regular Nintendo. The Super Mario, like the original one, like just my little itty bitty little hands like trying to like, oh, this is so cool. It's like, and Duck Hunt with the Duck Hunt. You put the gun right up to the TV so you can actually hit it.
Yep.
Like I was like just a tiny little kid, but ever since then, like it's just, I don't know, it's entertaining, it's fun. And then like when I first got with my husband, like we were still dating at the time, we ended up getting a 360 because for years I actually played on PlayStation. Like PlayStation 2 was my last thing I played on, and he had an original Xbox, like the big old black thing or whatever, like but anyway, words. But anyway, though,
I mean, Nev is in the chat, but yeah.
Oh, God. Nev, I love you. You dang well know it. Anyway, so it was a buddy of mine at work when I was working the overnight shifts, and he was selling his 360, and he's like, I don't play on it, and me and John are kind of looking at each other like, why not, And then the first thing I ever really started like achievement hunting in was Left 4 Dead, actually. Like I just absolutely loved that game, and like a bunch of my buddies, like I must have spent hundreds of hours playing that game. But we all started to go for the achievements, and I'm like, like this is actually kind of fun. And then as the years just went on, I would hunt, but I wasn't as dedicated as I am now, which I want to kick my own ass for not being more dedicated back then. But and ever since then, I like achievement hunting. I don't know, it just gives me something to do. It's like gives me a reason to get my money's worth out of the game. It just gives you more of an incentive to actually play it, to finish it, and be like, okay, I got the 100% for this. I finished this game. That doesn't really count for baby games though, because they're kind of, baby games.
Yes, money's worth, I guess, is all relative, right? Things have changed over the achievement landscape over the years, which I'm sure, we've all talked about a lot about it privately around like, oh well, it used to be you used to get the most out of it, even if it was like an easy game. It was like, oh, you had an easy game like King Kong, or like at worst like Avatar: The Last Airbender was the exception maybe. But most of them you still had to play the games at least a little bit, or at least they were at least more fully formed and not just massive cash grabs or just total trash.
Like I wish more games would be like What Remains of Edith Finch. I love that game. The storytelling in that, the atmosphere, everything, it was so good, but it was easy. So you could technically call that a baby game.
Well, didn't that win like a Game of Year award? Like when it first came out?
I think
some
so.
kind of award?
I definitely won awards. I mean, like it's a walking simulator, right? So there's not really a lot of like challenge. It's more of a narrative experience. But like, there's nothing wrong with that. Like, I love those kinds of games. Like, not every game needs to be like a 30-hour cover-based shooter with guys going fuck yeah.
Well, even like I'll get into like games that I played this week, but like Procession to Cavalry, like something like that is a perfect example. Play that.
Yeah, definitely, it's a great game. They just added it to Game Pass recently. After I bought it. Of course. Right? Yeah, like a month after I bought it and played it, I was like, this game's great.
Damn, like that one game that I bought all year gets added
exactly.
to
I was
Game
like,
Pass.
I don't buy a lot of games anymore.
But when I do, I miss.
Yeah, that's Mephisto's fault though, because he recommended it.
Well, I know with like I've been playing a lot of trash lately. I'm trying to get through that backlog of all those baby games that I have. But like, there was a couple that actually stood out to me that were like, kind of surprised me that they were actually kind of fun. And I ended up playing them a little bit longer than I really should have because I was just having fun with them. And it was this one game called Bone Marrow, I think is what it was called.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, oh yeah, it's the one with the skeleton on the cover, right?
Yeah, it was a little confusing at first, but then I started playing it and I'm like, you know what? I'm getting this. This is actually kind of fun. And I'm playing through it and it's like, what do you mean I got all the achievements? Oh, it's like, to the next one.
So do you have any sort of favorite genres or games or things that you like, you think it, I mean, like, I know that's a really shitty question because they're always like, oh, I don't know, I play everything, right? Because it's just kind of the achievement hunting life. But it's like, if you think of like, oh, I had a good experience with that game or that series, what sort of comes to mind?
Honestly, platformers and Metrovanias. Metroidvanias?
Metroidvanias,
right? Am I saying that right?
Yeah, you are definitely mad.
I love those. You gotta play Hollow Knight.
They're so good.
So good.
Depends on the game.
I mean, like, there are bad ones, sure, right? But
this is true. But that could be said for anything, in all honesty.
Yeah.
You have any sort of favorites?
Orion the Blind Forest is one of my favorites.
So good.
Oh, such a beautiful game. Beautiful soundtrack, story. Like, I got to go back to the, I think it's the definitive, not the definitive. Yeah, maybe it is the definitive.
Yeah, the definitive
one where
edition.
it's like, you got to beat the game in one sitting or whatever with no deaths.
Yep.
Something like that. It's
That's
like
the extra area and stuff, yeah. And then, have you played the sequel?
Not yet, but I'm going to once I go back for that other one. And then the first one will be all fresh in my head and I'll be like, sweet, now I can just jump right into this and just enjoy myself.
I'll be interested to see what they actually put out next. It's Night Studios, right? Or Moon
Studios? Moon Studios.
Yeah, sorry.
Moon Studios, yeah. I guess, like, are they going to do another Ori or are they going to go another direction? I mean...
I'm pretty sure they said that they were going to do something else.
Great. But I'd love to see what they do. I mean, hopefully, I like how they do Metroidvanias. Like I'm same as Mike. I love Metroidvania, the genre. So I'd be interested to see if they go in that direction or who knows. I mean, just because you do one thing doesn't mean you can't go off and do a completely different kind of game, right?
You might go and do like a RPG or something.
Sure,
it'd be pretty interesting from them.
I'll play that as long as it's got a great art style.
That's what I'm saying. It's got a good art style. It's got a good story. Like, you could have even the worst, shittiest graphics in the world. Like, it could, as long as it's got like that. Oh, fuck in my throat. If you, God damn it. But as long as it's got like an actual, like, it's something that sucks you in. Like, Yes, Your Grace was one of those occasions. Shitty ass graphics, but my God, did that story suck you in?
I still think that's good. Like my favorite game of the year.
Really? I mean, like I really enjoyed it, but it's It's the only game that I can look back at and like think of how emotional it made me. Like I emotionally resonated with like what happens in the middle of that game. Yeah. Because it's like, all right, fuck you all, kind of. Yeah, kind of. Yeah, like that. Yeah,
that's how it makes you feel.
Yeah, like to be fair, that game starts with your like the prologue is your castle being invaded, so it's probably not going to have like you're like okay, this is probably not going to go how I want it to.
But
this is very true. Yeah,
that's an amazing game. I need to check out what their new title was, but I don't think it's.
Oh, they got a new one.
Yeah, there's something that came out this year, but I don't think it's on Xbox yet.
Oh, okay, right.
Well, that's just rude. It should be on Xbox. Xbox is what we play on.
Exactly.
I know.
But on the plus side, it means that by the time it comes to us, there's already all the guides out, and I don't have to wait for it.
This is true. Okay, I can accept this answer.
Yeah. So any sort of platformers or any other things you can think of that you're really big into?
Human Fall Flat.
Yes, of course.
Yeah, you knew I was gonna say that.
Yes.
Me and my daughter have so much fun playing that. Even the littlest one, okay? Because I've got two. One's 11, the other one's 5, okay? and the 5-year-old's just starting to get into gaming a bit now. All right, so we'll throw her on a controller. I'll throw Lily on a controller, and then they'll just be going at, and then me and her will kind of switch off because you can't have it 3-player. It can only be a 2-player, unfortunately. Like when you're split screening.
Yeah.
And we don't have a third Xbox, so she's gonna SOL.
But bottom of the pecking order, I get it. Yeah.
Pretty much. But half the time, like I'm like, all right, mom's gonna go out for a cigarette. You guys just throw each other off the cliff, have some fun, and I'll come in, and the youngest is trying to drag Lily off the cliff. Lily's evil maniacally giggling as she's holding on to the ledge. It's great times. We get nothing done, but it's great.
It's that kind of game though. Like you just try and murder all your friends.
Yeah, and then just get up each other's butts. Apparently, it's like
Matt, why are you touching my butt?
It's like I'm literally trying to save all of us, and there's like 5 of us hanging from each other like a human ladder, trying to swing across.
And then whoever's on top just
it's like
fuck this, I'll let go.
Yeah, exactly. I'm just gonna let go.
All the power in my hand. Don't you make me let go.
Yeah, Human Fall Flat, like I think that's one of the best co-op experiences I've ever had. Like I love playing with you guys. It's so much fun.
Oh,
I mean, the lag makes it like almost more fun, to be honest. So trying to time my jumps when there's a 3-second delay between when I press the button and when I actually hop.
Well, most ragdoll physics games too, you usually end up hating. Like what is it, like Gang Beasts?
Gang Beasts was like
I don't hate good
well.
things.
Yeah. No, but it's like,
it wasn't that bad, guys. Come on.
Look. Whereas in Human Fall Flat, like owns it. It puts it in the heart of it.
I think part of it is that like Human Fall Flat has a real cooperative spirit around it, where it's like obviously it's fun to fuck around with your friends and stuff, but like the best thing about it is that you can solve all the puzzles on your own if you do enough stuff. But you can cheese the hell out of stuff if you got like 5 to 10 people in a level just like climbing all over each other. It's like okay. Just gonna it's like, well, I could do the puzzle, or we could make a human ladder and just climb this wall and just throw each other over it and just completely break everything and just like skip half the thing. It's like, great, let's do it. Yeah. And we're all wearing stupid fucking costumes and shit. And yeah,
I'm wearing like a rubber ducky inflatable.
Yeah, like a little inner tube, and like someone's got a gas mask on, and like someone's like got lightning stripes on them and stuff. It's so much fun. I love that keep releasing new content for it.
I still remember when I was first starting to achievement hunt that game, and my youngest, or my oldest at the time, she was still really little, like maybe 7-ish, I want to say, something like that. And she saw me playing it, and in order to get a lot of the achievements, she had to learn how to wall climb. And she's like, Mom, what are you doing? And I'm like, I'm trying to learn how to wall climb. So we sat there for hours learning how to wall climb, and of course she picks it up a lot faster than I did. So then she's like, no, Mom, do it like this. And she's like, leviosa, like the technique. She always got to rub it in that she's just a little bit better. And then I must knock her down and be like, yeah, Mom, but Mom can do this.
Yeah, exactly. Yes.
Just do it on PC, enable cheats, make it easier.
Yeah, just fly around. Yeah,
figure out how to actually turn them on. So when it came to doing the actual PC, I'm like, screw this, and I just ran through it.
I think by that point when you've done the Xbox, it's easy enough to just run through and not worry about it.
But,
didn't you know what you're doing? Definitely.
Yeah, you can skip so much of that game. Like I mean, like it's not quite the humping the axe speed run that I saw for Dark or whatever.
God,
that's
like
crazy.
Insane.
Jesus.
That's right, but like you can still like skip big parts of the level and break things and have a lot of fun with it. So yeah, I think we all recommend playing that for sure.
Oh, it's a fun game.
Yeah.
Just have some drinks and just go to town at it. It'd be great.
High TA because they add the free updates every now and then.
Yeah.
Like good studio.
Oh yeah.
Good ratio. Yeah.
I was gonna say I love their community management because it's always about getting people involved with like the drawings or designing your own levels and that as well.
Oh yeah, me and Lily tried that. We did. They still haven't announced a winner or anything, but we spent a good 2 months designing that thing. We had an absolute blast. Even if we don't win, I don't care. We had a blast.
I still want to see your level get added. Like that was still pretty fun to see.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was fun making it.
We also got some questions from the Achievement Hunters Anonymous community. Valak.
Here we go.
Has asked, what game made you rage the most?
Oh, he knows the answer to this one. Speedrunners. that unfair
yes.
difficulty can go. Can I actually?
Oh,
flip
you
off
can
the
swear. You
camera?
can
Yeah.
fucking swear all you want.
We're Australians. We don't give a
Fuck
fuck.
that achievement. Oh my god, I am not a rager. All right. Especially when I'm playing single player games, you don't really hardly ever hear me rage. I'll just take a breather, go out for a smoke, just spin in a circle, something. Okay. But that game, I'm sitting there and I'm literally just like going red in the face, like, ah! And my husband comes out like, are you okay? Do you need a break? Are you going to break a blood vessel? And I'm like, I need to complete it. Ended up getting it. Running around the house screaming, and he's like, would you stop? We have neighbors.
Yeah.
God, that sucks.
Again, it's another one where I heard you and Valak playing that game, and I was like, wow, yeah, I'm like, if that's probably a pass from me. I think I might just, it was because it was like a Games with Gold game, right? They gave it away for free, which is why everyone has it.
But I originally actually played it on Steam.
Oh, right.
That's how I first heard about it. So I was actually already kind of experienced with the game to begin with, and then I'm like, well, yeah, I want to get the achievements. And then I actually saw the list, and it's like, unfair. How hard could it be? Oh, how wrong I was. Oh my god! But it's done.
That's all that matters.
What's the hard bit with that? Is it just being all the chapters on unfair difficulty, or?
Because the freaking computer are twat waffles. That's why.
They cheat, basically, right?
Oh, they massively. They're like picture perfect. They just go. The only way.
Don't all speedrunners cheat? Like that's how they get their fast.
Yeah.
Different kind of speedruns.
Okay.
Oh my! It's a fun ass game, but god damn! Like I was sitting on it being incomplete for freaking years because all I was missing was the level. Was it the 100 rank or whatever?
Mm-hmm.
And I got so burnt out from doing the unfair. I'm like, oh, let's fucking do this later. Whatever.
I don't know how people put this down as 15 to 20 hours too.
I mean, if you're a psychopath, maybe.
Like if you got the skill, yeah.
I mean, that's always the estimate thing. It's like, oh, this game's like a 3-hour completion if you were the best player of all time.
Yeah.
Oh.
Like I'm surprised I'm sitting at like 490 gamer score for it, but at the same time, I played like nearly 30 hours.
Yeah,
I'm kind of curious how many hours I actually sunk into that game. Hold on. Don't mind me. Just looking something up real quickly.
You sank 34 hours. I found it.
Yeah, you're a lot faster than me. Jesus.
Yep.
I'll blame the arthritis there. Damn.
That's not too bad. 34 hours is actually that's pretty reasonable.
Decent TO.
It's not bad, but goddamn, half of that was definitely friggin' just that unfair difficulty. Oof.
Yeah. Valak also asks, why don't you know how to read?
All right, there's a little freaking sub joke to that. Okay, so like because I desperately need glasses and I'm a stubborn fucking mule. All right. I have a big ass TV, but when it comes to the text, I have a really hard time reading the text. So I'll just skim it and go blah 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 blah.
Get the gist of it.
Yeah, okay, keywords, yeah and no. So they constantly rip on me for that.
Yeah.
Especially when we're playing, what was it, the Dark Anthology, Man of Medan.
Man of Medan.
I pick up a piece of paper, me and Nev, we were playing through it. Pick up the piece of paper and it's like, oh, okay, and I put it down and then Nev reads it and he's like, did you even read this? It's a key plot point right here on this paper. I'm like, oh.
This sounds like me skipping cutscenes.
Yes, it does. Actually, yeah. Yeah, but you don't have an excuse, Cameron.
I mean, I can't read.
Yeah, sure. Okay, fair.
Sorry,
my line.
I can't sit through like a cutscene. There we go. That works.
They have attention issues. That's fair.
Yeah. Actually, that's actually true. I do have ADHD, so that makes sense.
Fair. That's fair. And it does explain the hyperfixation.
Anyway.
And then he also asks, what is your favorite game and why is it Roblox?
Oh my god. All right, another side thing. All right, there's a lot of freaking what's the word I'm looking for? Sub jokes, inside jokes. There we go. Because my kids play games a lot. All right, and when I get off my Xbox, especially my youngest now, she's starting to get into Roblox. I've already completed. I got all the achievements for that. Whatever. but I pop it on for her, and every time I'm online, they see me on freaking Roblox. It's like, it's not me, it's the children.
Okay, so just if any TA investigators are watching, she did just admit to having other people playing on her tag. Just putting that out there.
Completed. It wouldn't really matter.
Yeah, fair.
I completed it first, and then I let him play out.
Yeah, exactly. We also got a question here from Red, another previous guest. What got you into achievement hunting? Like, what's the? You mentioned like Left 4 Dead. Was it like you were hooked from the very beginning, or was it like was it like a certain achievement, or was it like completing the game? Like, do you have any like early memories of achievement hunting?
I'm trying to think of the game that really got me into like it was definitely the Left 4 Dead's. It's like, especially once we were making plans, like when the second one came out, that we were just going to jump right on the achievements, and that's kind of how it all really started. But what really got me into completing them more, though, was, like I was saying before, trying to get my money's worth out of them, because I'm a stay-at-home mom. My husband works full-time and everything. It's like, I can't justify going out spending tons of money on games when he's busting his ass. Like, that's just not right. So it's like, I try to get my money's worth out of what I have to play, and God, I love Game Pass for that.
Yeah.
But it's just kind of like, it gives me something to do so I don't go absolutely crazy, because I'm a bit of a hermit anyway. So, outside scary, outside bad, but
100%. I mean, like literally now. I mean,
people die out there.
Literally.
Yeah.
It's like, no, I'm gonna stay here in my nice little comfort zone. It'll be fine. No, but sometimes it's like, it can get a little freaking like stir crazy when the only living beings in the house are things that are fuzzy, and then two little tiny midgets running around screaming, But
they take after a mother then, I guess.
Pretty much, yeah. They're crazy little things, but I love them. Especially when they get me achievements.
Yeah, exactly, right?
I'm turning them into little achievement hunters. Did you watch?
Get them started young.
You watch, like, past 1 mil, she won't even be playing on the tag.
No, they should be like, I'm retired.
She'll just be like, the kids are there, whip.
I've delegated my achievement hunting.
I'll just write it into my will. You must keep my streak going alive and keep getting me more achievements.
We have the long plan, Mike. Like, Matt's eventually going to be overtaken.
This is true.
He has no offspring to pass it on to.
I have no offspring. I will die. Like, eventually, yeah, the legacy will overtake me, unfortunately.
No, just have it sell it off to the highest bidder.
Yeah, that's true. Actually, I should do. Yeah,
it might be Mephisto's greatest strength, just getting his kids.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
wait, he might be catching up on him pretty.
I mean, I'll have more time in the short term, but in the long term, they're gonna beat me. Right. That's the strategy.
Perfect timing. He chimes in. Where did I go wrong? My kids hate achievement hunting.
Oh,
one is Nintendo, the other is only battle royales.
Good.
Now, you see, there's a trick to it. There's a trick I've learned. Okay, it's like, you gotta get him kind of interested in it first, like the game itself.
Complete this game, or you don't get ice cream tonight.
Yeah, exactly.
No, you cannot do that.
Carrot stick. What's
to say you can't do that? Like with Persephone, it's just like, all right, do you want ice cream? Yes, I want ice cream. All right, well, first you're gonna eat all your vegetables. It's like, and then she'll sit there, and then you'll constantly remind her, no, you don't get ice cream if you don't eat it all. And then just every 5 seconds, because she'll forget. And I mean, she's only 2, but
just the social conditioning. She can barely hold the controller, but
Yeah, give her time.
Some games she only
at 3, okay. Jasmine started at 3. We'll get him there. We'll get her there. Well, no, because like we actually wait until we get into what we're playing. And I'll discuss that more.
Just Dance. Sometimes you just need an extra body, and they can just stand there too.
Yeah, Just Dance, exactly. And speaking of keeping streaks going, we also got a question from Firehawk. Why are you mad forever? I guess
it's all one question. Why are you mad forever? Do you need hug? Is it because of your low completion percentage?
Alright, so a little backstory with this. Okay, so when I was 19, I was trying to reinvent myself, like most teenagers freaking do. Okay, and I'm just sitting down, and I'm just like, all right. And I was kind of going through a hard time at the time, and I'm like, you know what? Screw it. I'm mad. I'm Mike, and I'm gonna forever be Mad Mike. Bam. That's
Easy.
the origin.
Makes perfect sense.
Ever since then, I've always been Mad Mike forever for everything. Forever.
And low completion percentage, I don't think that's fair. I mean, to be fair, you do play with the wrong DLC settings, I think. But other than that, you're a good person.
No, because like we had touched on before, okay? Because I used to get all the achievements. I do have some DLCs, but they're way, way old. And the reason why this happened, okay, is because when I was first playing on PC Game Pass, it's Game Pass in general, okay? And I'm looking at all these games. I'm like, oh, they look like they're so much fun. Oh, but they got DLC. I can't afford the DLC. And then another one pop up. And then I started to get really frustrated and restricted on what I could play. And I'm like, you know what? Fuck this. I'm just going to go for the base game. And that way I can still play the games I want to play and not go, make my husband work another 80 hours so I can just play games. That's horrible.
That's how it should run too. Like, don't listen to all these haters about their completion percentage and all that. Just play the games you want to.
Cameron, you don't get to put yourself in that camp. No. She's got a perfectly reasonable explanation as to why she does it. You've got nothing. I literally can see your game collection in the back. I know how much money you've thrown away on video games. I don't want to fucking hear it. All right?
That's fine.
You don't get to support you. He's kind of right.
Yeah.
And as per the chat has suggested and requested.
No. That's the one. That's the one total sex noise you're getting for this episode.
Can I give me 2 seconds? Where is it?
And this is for Admiral.
No. Oh my God. Can we just cut her feed? Like, can we just? I think we might need to turn in early. This is. Oh God. Well, at least I get to edit the audio part of this. God damn it.
Where is it?
No, Cameron. No, you're not. No, don't.
So I started streaming this week, and I found this lovely website that has all the sub sounds.
Oh God.
And of course, within the top results was Turtle Sex Noises, yeah?
No, well,
and I kid you not, it sounded identical to Valak's.
I mean, yeah, Valak's been practicing.
Well, yeah.
To the point where I'm just like, I was half tempted to message him and just go, I just need to know, you didn't upload your sound clip to this website, did you?
No, he heard the sound clip and has been imitating it. I think the shoe is on the other foot a little bit on that. But we're not doing turtle sex noises and we're not doing puppets. Okay, that's where I fucking draw the line on this.
What about crazy unrealistic?
About this puppet?
What about crazy realistic knocking? Because that one messes with me. Anyway, moving along.
We also got our last question here from Mad Lefty. When are you going to complete Alan Wake, Borderlands 1 and 2, Call of Duty 4, Dishonored, Fallout 4, Gears of War 3, Hitman, Ori and the Blind Forest Definitive Edition, and Pool Nation FX?
Oh, I need to get Pool Nation.
I did finish Alan Wake for information, just not the DLC because previous reasons.
Yeah, cool.
And the other ones, eventually.
Yeah, right. Yeah, okay.
They're on the backlog. I've been gaming for years. I'm not as dedicated as I was back then.
Gears 3, you can get a pass because not even me and Matt have done
no one's going to finish that.
And speaking of Gears, just like, oh my God, I still can't believe we finished the first one for the 360. We actually got all the achievements for that one. We boosted the ever-loving fuck out of that. That was the first game I ever popped an achievement in, ever.
Same
so
here.
I had that one done. It was like, holy shit, I need a beer.
It's how I felt like after Black Ops 3 on 360.
Oh yeah, that's same sort of thing, right?
Yeah.
Just
10,000 kills, that kind of stuff.
Oh, so
I'm hoping I get to that stage with Fear 2 at some, maybe this year. Probably not.
We were in the chat. We brought that up yesterday because we were looking at the Fear series to see if you can still get the completion. And it's like Fear 3, 20 to 25 hours. Yeah, I think I'll pick that one, not Fear 2 with the 200 hours plus.
Yep. You need to get 1 million experience for the last achievement.
What is it with that time period where the second sequel just suddenly had tacked on multiplayer that added it to 200 hours?
I think it was more just the time of when those games came out, where it was like putting a tacked on multiplayer was kind of the thing.
Like Far Cry 2 was the exact same.
Yeah, Far Cry 2, yeah, exactly. And like even like was like Dead Space 2 had a multiplayer mode for some reason.
Yeah, which it wasn't that bad,
it was
but it
fine,
was still like
but like it felt like really unnecessary.
unneeded.
And no achievements
Yeah,
for it, but like yeah, it was just kind of the time period, right? Where it's just like, well, we're just gonna put out a bunch of after they had like the first wave of games that were mostly single player with some multiplayer, but like some games that had like really grindy multiplayer, like Graw and stuff like that, right out the gate. And then it was like the second wave of games from like 2008 on to like 2000 maybe 11, somewhere around that.
Yeah. Yeah, it definitely fits in with that time period.
Yeah. Well, thanks for answering our questions and the community's questions there.
I was also going to ask one last question. Like,
Sure.
when are you gonna help us with Rec Room?
I still get. I got another message the other day.
I'm not surprised.
It's like, really, people?
I was
Really?
like,
Just
how did you do
it
it?
yourself.
Yeah.
I logged in every day for 3 fucking months and it sucked ass. But I did it. You just idle. You go, go outside while it idles, or you go clean your house. Like, personally, what I do. My husband loves it when I idle shit because the house is fucking spotless.
Comes home from work. Oh, the house is clean. What are you idling today?
It's like, well, I needed 100 hours in sticky balls or whatever it was. Oh,
Oh god, no, 500 hours.
sorry,
500.
Yes, 500.
Oh god.
Fucking insane.
Freaking Snipe's like, oh yeah, you can do it, Mike. It'll be easy. It'll be fine. It'll be great. I'm sitting there, motherfucking son of a.
It'd be great if it was cross save and you could like do it on mobile, but
Yeah, sure, exactly.
Oh, leaving my Xbox on for that long, it was like it got scary sometimes because I got an original Xbox One, and then she's gonna die.
Yeah,
If I keep pulling that shit on her, she's gonna die.
the big VCR.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, I think maybe we should move on to the news. Cameron, what have you found for us this week?
all right. So I've got like a lot of little stories. First up, the Xbox 20th anniversary celebration event is set for November 15th. I'm pretty sure it's just going to be an anniversary event that looks back at the 20 years of Xbox, and I guess the history of Halo as well. Past that, there's not really much other than you can watch it on YouTube, Twitch, Facebook, and Twitter. They have also set out to manage expectations with the event, saying over on Xbox Y it won't announce any new games. Saying that, I think we talked about last week about the backwards compatibility leak. So I think at the very least we can expect, I would want to say some Halo campaign footage. So
Hopefully.
Halo Infinite campaign footage. Saying that if we don't see it, I'm still not worried. I'm still going to play it when it hits in December 8th. And then, I reckon we'll get a fair slog of OG Xbox games for backwards compatibility. Fingers crossed.
Now, Mike, is there anything you're interested in and hoping that you'll see there?
I'm kind of hoping it would be nice with the backwards compatible stuff because I hate loading up my 360. Like, it's so annoying. Like, I keep putting off playing, Silent Hill Downpour? Because it's, I don't want to sit on my freaking 360. I want to play on my big TV where I still can't read anything, like not the little one that's right next to it.
I moved my bookcase yesterday and I started going through and just taking off all the pre-owned stickers and everything that I hadn't got around to. And there was so many games looking up that are around that 07 to 2010 period that just aren't backwards compatible.
Oh, yeah, it's so irritating.
There's a lot of stuff that I just want to be able to, play on a Series X.
There's a lot of stuff I'd like to just not have to think about anymore. Just be like, well, I've got this collection of games that all of it plays. I've got digital versions of it, or I can play it on the Series X, or I don't have to have the 360 stuck in.
See, I don't think I'll ever get rid of my OG consoles and that, just because Kinect, what else? The old peripherals, all my Guitar Hero controllers, which I've got 8 of now.
I was gonna say but you like collecting shit, so that's kind of a little bit different. You got the shelf, exactly. Right?
There's a whole pile of them right there, but
look at that.
Ready to be smashed once you finish the game.
But that's the thing. Once a year, me and my mates get together and this one or Abednego, and we sit around playing 4 guitars for Guitar Hero and stuff like that to catch up. So that's why I like
Yeah.
that kind of stuff. It's fun. Like, it's a good New Year's event, but that's how we experience it. Yeah, that's pretty much it for the anniversary stuff. I guess we'll get into the Cyberpunk news. So there was a leak last week that said that Cyberpunk... No, it wasn't Cyberpunk. It was Witcher 3 was coming out on October 19th.
Yeah, so it was like a ESRB rating thing, I think, said that they were doing a next-gen version of it. Was going to be coming out on the 19th, and we were all very excited about it.
And then people waited with bated breath, and of course it didn't happen because it's CD Projekt Red. No, but in all fairness, so they came out with statements saying that it will be launching sometime during quarter one. Sorry, that Cyberpunk 2077 Xbox Series S and X version will be launching through quarter one 2022, and the Witcher 3 Wild Hunt will launch sometime in the second quarter of 2022. Based on recommendations supplied by teams supervising the development of both games, we decided to postpone their releases until 2022. Yeah, so not really that much there other than this will be like 2023.
I mean, they didn't use the yeah, exactly, yeah. They didn't use the well, that was the talk, right? They people were like, oh, maybe they're going to try and put in like get the Witcher game, the next gen version, to come out at the same time as the new series, right? The season 2 of the show. And now everyone's like, well, I guess it's going to be season 3 then.
Yeah. So, I mean, if Witcher had came out in like quarter one, like alongside the show, that would have been like January release, but
yeah, January, yeah.
I guess I mean it's still going to be good when it eventually comes around. I want to still play Cyberpunk now that it apparently does work, but
I don't know.
I'll shoot myself in the foot. I'll start it up and then cars will start flying towards the sky, that kind of stuff. And be like, all right, cool, this is normal. It's a feature.
My husband, who's a complete normie, he does not achievement hunt whatsoever. He was first interested in Cyberpunk, and then when he saw all the glitches and everything, he's just like, "Fuck this shit, I'm out." Like, nope.
Fair. Yeah. Totally fair. Yeah. I've been waiting for that game to actually release when they do the next gen version. Hopefully, like they've had enough time that it'll actually be in a good state and be the experience that I was hoping for when it first got announced.
Because it looked like a really cool game. Like, it really did, but it just, the execution of it was just absolute shit.
Do you have a Series X? Or are you still...
You're still running on the OG, aren't you?
Yeah, you're still
running I'm still...
Yeah,
I have the money. Now, you see, you gotta understand, I'm a Jew, okay? And being a Jew, we're very stingy, okay? So we have the money put aside for the Series X, but the way I tell myself that I can't justify buying a Series X when my Xbox is still working. It's like, and then I have to buy another TV to go with it. Yeah, I could double box it. Maybe I should do this.
I was gonna say
So what you're saying is you're not like, you don't have 2 Series X's and a Series S and 3 Xbox 360s.
Yeah.
No,
he's not. She's not a fucking hoarder.
I don't know.
No, I do have 2 Xboxes though, because my husband has his, and then I have mine, and then he keeps stealing my hard drive.
Okay. This is how you justify it. Yeah, it's like you've got 2 kids. You go on a buy swap sell page. You find a $50 Xbox One. Yep. You give both consoles to the kids, and then you buy yourself a Series X.
You get a $50 Xbox One. Wait, hold up. What?
I think I've seen them like for 80 Australian, so $50 US wouldn't be bad.
Really?
Like, if you're talking OG, without control.
Oh, okay, all right. I just, I got excited, and I saw the light, and I just totally got shiny and got distracted.
Like a 1S and a 1X would probably be a bit more.
I think one of my best finds. Oh, it was that day when I went to Melbourne and spent like $250 Australian. I came back with like a stack of games, like that high.
Like a humongous bag, right? That was that one time.
2 Xbox 360s, a bunch of controllers. Like some of them didn't work, but whatever. The dance mats, the world tour band set, which the drum kit doesn't work, which really effed me off. But saying that, like, I've still got like 4 drum kits. It's fine. Yeah.
a hoarder.
No,
right?
To
Yeah.
collect the finer things.
No, this is the thing. Like, it's really hit and miss when you get some of the stuff. If I can get any of it repaired, I'm just gonna distribute it back to people in the community. Because you never know. Somebody will hit me up in like 5 years and say, "Hey, I want to get the original drum kit for a 360."
I mean, I still need to find the original drum kit, the one with the cymbals for World Tour, because it's like a couple of tutorial achievements and some of the later Guitar Heroes. That's like, oh, it's like, yeah, you can only finish the tutorial if you have the drum kit that we sell with this game.
Oh.
I've been looking for stuff. Like I got fortunate enough. I have the guitar and the pro guitar for
Right, yep.
for Rock Band 3. But trying to get the cymbals and all that for that kind of stuff is just, and trying to get any Rock Band 4 equipment for Xbox One is a nightmare.
Yeah, yeah, I'm not surprised. That game did okay, but definitely not on Xbox.
Oh, it's a great game, but yeah, it's just one of those things that I'm probably going to spend more time in Rocksmith than I am in Rock Band at this point, just because I can't find stuff. It's easier to go out and buy a new guitar than it is to buy a plastic one. But going back to the CD Projekt Red news, there was also, I want to say, an announcement this morning.
Yep, just came out.
That Molasses have been acquired by CD Projekt Red.
Yeah, so Molasses Games are the people who made The Flame and the Flood and Drake Hollow. So
I like Flame and the Flood.
yeah, it's people tend to quite like. I mean, I like the idea of that game. I don't know if I want, the achievement list is a bit rough, but
Oh, it's not that bad.
it's so much RNG. I mean, anyway.
So going through their announcement, so what does this mean? We get to build a completely new game in the universe of an existing CD Projekt IP. We get to hire a lot more folks, and we get to keep making games based on the same principles that have always guided us, making games with heart-built and rich gameplay systems. We're also staying the Molasses Flood, although we'll probably add a CD Projekt Red Studios to that pretty often. When we started talking with CD Projekt, they made it pretty clear they weren't looking to simply absorb us, but rather embrace us and support our own culture and growth. We'd love to talk about what we're working on, but we're going to have to wait for now. In the meantime, we're hiring, so if you're interested in seeing what we're up to, send along a resume. What do we reckon? Witcher or Cyberpunk?
Mike, what do you think?
I have no idea.
I think they've been brought on board with a side project for Cyberpunk.
I could see it. I mean, when I saw this news, the first thing I thought of was like how Thronebreaker is like it's set in the Witcher universe, but it's a very different kind of game. Like the art style is different, the way they tell the story is different. Like it's Gwent gameplay, but like it's an amalgamation of other kinds of games brought in.
Who made Thronebreaker?
I think CD Projekt Red did.
Okay, yeah, it was,
yeah, because they didn't have any other studios, I don't think. But I think that that's the kind of project that I'm thinking this is going to be, because I think that kind of style of game fits well into what they did with Flame and the Flood, for example. Less so for Drake Hollow, but I don't see them doing a survival game. But I don't know. I think Cyberpunk maybe makes sense, but I think that they're also looking at The Witcher is a much bigger property. And, they did say that they were looking at going back to The Witcher at some stage, even if they're not doing a Geralt story, but the universe at least.
Which is that kind of thing that's always just made money, so...
Yeah, exactly. Like, considering how rough Cyberpunk is and how much, how much goodwill it lost.
I shouldn't say that. Cyberpunk still made a fuck ton of money, but it was just a case of...
public opinion.
Yeah, just public opinion.
Yeah, it's got a lot of bad, publicity. You don't hear a lot of people talk bad about Witcher, but when you hear Cyberpunk, you're like, ew.
Yeah, even non-gaming people, even my boss was like, yeah, I heard a lot of bad. He was like, oh, I'm looking for a new game to get into. He really liked Red Dead and he likes big open world games. And he's like, oh, I was thinking about doing Cyberpunk, but I heard all this bad news about it and stuff. And then he also listens to this podcast occasionally. So yeah.
I mean, what was it like?
Weird,
I think it was $10 at Best Buy in the US. The other
they're basically giving it away.
At that price, I'd jump in. I got it for $29 at launch.
I've got a copy of it, but I haven't played it, and I'm not going until I do a next gen version, a current gen next gen version of it.
Yeah, Lefty, that's 100% true. I have one copy of 5 compared to my 4 copies of 3.
Yeah, Todd mentions in chat that he's played Cyberpunk and didn't come across any bugs. It's been a real mixed bag for people.
First time I played it, I just dumped in like 10 minutes. I think I was doing the corporate route, and then talked to one NPC, went back, the door wouldn't open. So I was basically like soft locked, and I'm just like, all right, cool. I'll leave this for a while. But yeah,
that's fair. And just like I think that it wasn't so much the bugs as well as just like the lack of content and features that I was hearing about. Like people saying that even if the game was like perfectly like structurally sound, it still wouldn't be that great of a game to play. Like it was still like it still didn't have a lot of the stuff that they were expecting or that was talked about. So I'm hoping that they also add content, like they do like a Game of the Year edition for the for when they do the Series X release or whatever. But well, again, there's so much other stuff to play that it's kind of been like whatever. But I'm interested to see what Molasses do with this stuff because I really enjoyed Thronebreaker a lot more than I thought I would. And if they're going to do a Cyberpunk thing, like a Cyberpunk side story that's a bit more smaller scale and condensed and well crafted, I think would be interesting because it seems like a cool world.
Yeah, definitely. Got anything else that we want to add? Before I move on?
No, I think
All
so.
right. Blades. Blades are cool, yeah? What?
I mean, sure, you know. If
My camera just stopped focusing. Cool, whatever. So, to go alongside the 20 years of Xbox, the Xbox official website is currently sporting the OG Xbox 360 Blades aesthetic.
Not much more to say about that, right? But it looks cool.
It looks cool. We'll never get anything like that on the consoles again, but because people are just
memories.
People are just like, we want this as a theme, and it's like, it's on the website. Tough luck.
I have fond memories of this. Like this was back when I first started getting into the Xbox, like in 2007. They still had the old blades before they went to like the moving squares. Update.
I jumped in like around the update, so the blades always looked cool, but it was well past my time.
It has a real retro feel to it now. Looking at it, like holy shit.
Yeah, it makes you feel old.
Yeah, right. I was like, man, this is like what this was peak. I mean, this was the first time you had anything like this, right? Because it used to be when you had a PlayStation 2, you would just fire up the PlayStation and it would just start the game.
Yeah.
Yep.
And that was it, right? And it was like either it would start the game or you wouldn't have a disc in it and you would go look at your memory card, and that's the only options you have. Whereas like this is like, oh no, you can just scroll through and have a look at like Xbox Live and look at the store and play music and stuff. Like,
and the only reason you'd actually look at your memory card too is because your brother has deleted your saved data for.
Yeah, you're like, whoa. It's like, wait a minute, where's my fucking Legend of Legaia? 100-hour game.
Where's my Final Fantasy X endgame?
Exactly.
Where's my Silent Hill 3? What the hell?
Yeah. Probably did you a favor there though.
That's why I got the GameCube games all the time.
That's a good game.
Silent Hill 3 is okay.
Like I was the only one. I was the only one among my friends to actually have a GameCube, and I would always go and buy the games that have the memory cards included because you never had enough space.
They used to sell them with the game because it's like, oh no, this game takes up the whole memory card, so we're gonna sell you one with it. Yeah.
Which I think was like Pokemon, Pokemon XD, Gale of Darkness, those kind of games.
Yep. Man, the GameCube is a weird console.
I loved it. It had so many good games.
Yeah, I love it too, but it's it sometimes made it hard to love. There was something I was thinking about just looking at these Blade stuff, and I was like, oh yeah, I saw something on I'm not sure which Discord it was I was looking at, but someone was like, what the fuck is this? Like they were on the Xbox website. And they're like, what the fuck is this? Like, what's going on? Like, is the website broken or something? Because they had gotten into Xbox so far after the Blades that they didn't even know what it was.
Yeah.
And like, that made me feel fucking ancient. I was like, oh God, I've been doing this for too long. It's like, yeah, fucking.
It's like trying to explain Game Shark to a kid. It's just like, what's Game Shark? What is that? Is that a fun game? How's the completion? It's like, no.
Yeah. It's
Charlotte,
like
don't just call them out like that.
Yes, thank you. Yes, yeah, you did, yeah, exactly, yeah. Thank you. Yeah, I mean, like, hey, like, you're right though. It would be really cool to see this as like a theme on the series. Like that would be like a cool anniversary announcement or something to do like that. Like I think, you know, I'd definitely install it.
I want more like old backgrounds, like the dynamic theme.
We're getting to that age where nostalgia is really the big selling point for pretty much anything. I mean, they're re-releasing the GTA collection like next month, right? I'm like, and everyone's like, man, I love GTA when I was way too young to be playing GTA.
I don't know. I don't know what's with this. Like the last month too, I've just felt like massive nostalgia for like everything. It's whether it be Xbox, whether it be early 2000s music, that Aussie hits that nobody knows anything about, whether it be old TV shows like Round the Twist and Parallax that nobody knows anything about.
Yep, no, it's you're just getting old, mate.
I'm getting old.
You're literally like, I think literally that's the sign of you being over the hill. Like it's all downhill from here, mate.
You two don't get to talk about age because I'm older than both of y'all.
That's true. That's true. But you're aging gracefully. He's aging more like, you know, just like he's like, well, he's ready for his midlife crisis.
Mike, were you around before the internet?
Yeah, I was actually.
There we go. That's the best way to determine that.
I
can still remember when I was a kid, and I first got my I got an iPod Nano for like one of my it was either like birthday or Christmas, and my study my bedroom was the old study, so I would connect by dial-up, and it would take me like 6 hours to download 2 songs. In MP3 format.
Good old days.
And it's just like that's how I just got by living on a farm. That's my nostalgia. But
back in my day.
Back on the old farm.
Yeah.
Back in my day.
Back when
Life simulator games was going outside and getting grass.
I had to walk uphill both ways to school through 20 miles of snow with no shoes.
I mean, 20 years ago, I just sat on the computer playing Age of Empires. Not a lot's changed.
Yeah, fair, actually. Yeah, maybe that's what it is. Is that really... It's not that we've gotten old. It's just that things have recycled back to where they were.
Pokemon. Actually, yeah, that's my entire childhood is like what's popular again. Everything from the 90s. I'm seeing Tamagotchis. I'm seeing Pokemon cards. I'm seeing. It's just.
Good old Tamagotchis. I remember having one of those, staying up all night. I gotta take care of this freaking thing. Why does it keep beeping at me? Oh, it shit itself again? Oh, come on, man. I'm never having kids.
Yeah, exactly. I was gonna say. Then you had 2 children. You're like, you know what? That Tamagotchi experience. I'm nostalgic for that now.
Poor Tamagotchis. Like everybody bats an eye when you kill one of your kids, but nobody bats an eye when one of your Tamagotchis dies.
No, you haven't played Tamagotchi correctly unless you've gotten so frustrated at the little fucker that you changed the date to make him grow up. So you can stop having to take care of its little
like, I'm
shit
done.
ass.
I'm done. Just, yeah.
Mike's just like, all right, I've had enough of your shit, kids. Get the time machine. Just chuck them in.
Oh, God, I felt like that potty train the youngest. Jesus.
God,
like, why? There was piss everywhere. It's like
I know what you're going through at the moment. Persephone's at the age where I'm just like, all right, look, if you want to go wheeze and all that, that's fine. You can go in your napping or whatever, but I want you to use the potty when you're going number 2s. And she's like, okay. So then she'll do a number 2, and it's like, all right, come and grab me. And then she's like, potty? I'm like, that defeats the purpose. You've already just shit in your napping.
She's got the order wrong. That's fine. She's got the spirit.
She's getting there.
Oh no, Jasmine was so freaking stubborn. Okay, Lily was easy. You just bribe her with M&Ms, and my God, that kid was like a dog. You food motivated like a motherfucker. Okay.
That's Percy. I've got a bag of choc chips, and Percy's the exact same.
Jasmine, she's like me. Oh, she's stubborn little shit. She would piss her pants just to piss me off and be like, "Really, kid? Really?" It's like, but it's right there. And then because she's so freaking tiny, I had to get her a special seat. And now she's on this stage where she doesn't want to use the seat, and her ass actually fell into the toilet.
Oh my God!
I hear Mom! It's like, what? And I'm hearing splash. I'm like, wait a minute, she's not in the tub. Oh shit!
I'm so never having children. That sounds horrific. Oh my god.
Oh, you'll never have anybody that plays the games for you then.
That's I'll get a.
I'll get Persephone to the age where
I'm gonna be an amazing uncle. Don't worry about it.
No, I'm telling you, just hire a midget and you'll be fine. It's kind of the same.
Allison already lives with me.
That's my problem, Todd. Whenever you do find a drum kit or anything, it's always a fucking Wii peripheral.
The Wii peripheral.
It's always a Wii. Anyway, which is perfect to say along with this topic. But anyway, moving on.
Yes. Let's move swiftly on.
Mini fridges. To all our non-ANZ friends, did you get one?
The answer is obviously no. No one got a fucking mini fridge because scalpers picked them all up and now selling them for 4 times the price.
Yeah.
Of course.
Dickheads.
Great. So yeah, pre-orders went live on October 19th and they sold out within minutes.
Yeah, they went live and then they went down on October 19th.
Yep. So if you have a quick look at eBay, there's consoles for like €250, which works out to be like 400 AUD. Yeah.
Jesus
Hell.
Christ.
For a little fridge. Like, I was talking to my husband about that. I'm like, honey, I love you, but I see this little really cool Xbox fridge. I'm like, I remember trying to justify it. I'm like, there's a nice little spot right next to the couch. I could keep my waters there. I could keep my wine there. You'd have lots and lots of space. It'd be absolutely perfect. You wouldn't have to worry about nothing. And he's just like, we are not getting an Xbox fridge.
I honestly though, for $100 US, I think that's reasonable.
Oh, I think actually, like price-wise, it's not too bad. I mean, Allison was somewhat resistant, but now she's gone to the stage where she was like, you don't need the fridge. What would you even use it for? You don't even drink beer or anything. And I was like, look, I have an achievement addiction, not a drinking addiction, but it's fine. We can combine them. It's fine. Just put them in we'll put it in the fridge. But now I've worn her down to the point where she's like, whatever, just fucking get it. I'm like,
I'll just get it as a wedding gift. That's fine.
That's fine. Exactly.
If I can get one.
But now apparently New Zealand just doesn't have them. So
apparently the news with that is they're waiting for regulations to be passed.
Interesting. Okay.
So they've managed to do it in the US, the UK, and some other parts, but they just haven't been able to do it in other parts of the world because they have to meet the requirements and all that. And we all know the US doesn't have any requirements on food safety and anything anyway.
That's true. That is
true. No, not at all.
No,
so I can understand why Australia and New Zealand would have to wait till at least 2022.
And I guess they do need to do different versions of like the plugs and like the power and so like they have to design specifically versions for other countries.
Are the UK and the US same voltage?
Yes, I think so.
Because it's 240 here and 120 there, yeah, in the US.
Yeah, I think so. Or 100. Yeah, 100 to 120.
Yeah.
It's all about amperage and voltage, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, I like it's not as easy as it is with an Xbox where you have a built-in converter that you just plug in a different cord, right? Like they need to redesign it. But
It's why the US doesn't have kettles as well too, because it takes it's easier to put it on a stove, because in Australia and New Zealand it's much easier to heat up quickly because of the amount of voltage going through the circuit.
I had
Fun
I was
fact.
talking about that before. Oh yeah, per request to the chat.
No. I'm editing that one. I'm editing that one out. It's getting edited out. It's just gonna be an awkward silence in there.
Mute her. Give her like a 5-minute timer.
Yeah, she get a timeout. I say where's Nightbot? Nightbot, get in here.
All right. So going back to the story, I wouldn't be surprised if one scalper has got like a massive lot of it. Like back when the Series X first launched, one UK scalper group claimed to have snapped up 1,000 Xbox Series X consoles from a single retailer after a technical error allowed the group to pre-order the consoles before listings went live. Jeez. Thankfully, in that case, it was later cancelled, but I'm sure there's plenty of them that have picked up like 10, 15 and managed to sell them on.
They have the fridge manufacturers did come out and basically say that don't worry, we are definitely making more of these. There'll be another wave in December or whatever. Like they're making it pretty clear that this isn't going to be like a super limited run thing, and it's not like a console thing where it's like, oh, there's a lot that goes into this production text. It's a fucking fridge.
I'm like
it's a cold box.
Like the closest, I realistically don't need one, but I've got the Black Ops 3 Juggernaut fridge, which is probably the closest thing to compare it to.
Yeah,
and I am so motivated to make it so that an Xbox Rare Achievement sound pops as you open the fridge.
Yes.
Similar to how the Juggernog fridge does the zombies noise every time you open it.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I would just sit there and open the fridge constantly, and John would be like, "Would you stop that?" And be like,
But, yeah, just going back to it too, like I think it fits like 10 cans. Actually, if you take the shelving out, it can fit a Xbox Series X in there.
Oh,
which
okay.
gives you an idea of the size, yeah.
So yeah, decent size, not massive.
I could fit a bottle of wine in there then.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, maybe. Oh, yeah. I guess if you just set it up right, you probably could.
They're about like this tall.
Yeah, you could probably set it up right.
Yeah, it'd be fine.
Have like the ceremony, like you've done a very hard achievement. You've done a very hard completion. Open the fridge, have a whole bottle of wine. We know that's every other night for you anyway, Mike. So it's fine.
Yeah, it's just.
Oh, you know, when I finished Made a Skier, that last challenge, man. Woo, woo. Oh, you better believe I was hooting and hollering and screaming around the house, and John's like, "Get another hard completion, honey, huh?" I'm like, yep. Yep.
Robbie says box wine. Yeah, we'll just have a box.
That's what I was going to say.
Yes.
I was like box wine, but you take
Box
the bag
again.
out. You just put the bag in. You don't need the box. You just put the goon bag in and
See,
just.
they want me to never be a guest again.
Jeez.
Go at me. You read the chat. You read the chat.
I do read the chat. Yes.
God, Mike would be the best Aussie, putting like the goon bag up in the clothesline.
Yeah, absolutely.
Getting
With
drunk
the
on box
bags and
wine.
everything. Just absolutely.
I actually had to look that up, what that was, when you guys talked about it before. What the? I'm like, oh, okay. All right, this makes sense. We call that redneck here.
It's so Aussie.
Cameron found a great thumbnail for that episode as well. I loved it.
I love stock images. Perfect for it.
And yes, Charlotte has timed Mike out of the chat for 60 seconds. So yeah, it's good to know.
So yeah, going back to it, mini fridge is not a limited edition item. I'm so glad that they're making these. It's such a good meme.
Yeah.
And hopefully it makes Xbox realize too that they should start doing other
merch,
like
and,
stuff
kind
like
of
this.
interesting
Yeah.
stuff. Yeah. Yeah.
Like,
I think it's definitely an avenue that they haven't really pursued.
The biggest problem too is like the merch store for like clothing for the longest time was like only US or very limited markets. And
yeah,
like we've had like Katarina on the show before, and it's just getting those kind of merch and different games and that accessibility to other regions around the world.
Getting Xbox and Microsoft as a whole's interest in other regions outside of the primary US UK market, right? And like you said, Katarina talked about that, and that it's an ongoing uphill struggle, and that like I said here, it's like they can host a launch event here, but fuck me if I can get half the stuff that they want to sell.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like we know that if I could go down the street and buy, like, I can, like most of the time here, but like buying that like those shirts and that through Big W and retailers like that, which I'm sure like Target would be the same in the US.
Yeah.
But like I mean, like what are you gonna do in something like Brazil or Argentina or I guess Africa or
Discount Spain.
Yeah. But yeah, pretty much all going to get one when it does release.
I would, if it's possible, I will definitely get one. Yes.
I imagine it'll be like 200 Australian, maybe.
Something like that, yeah.
Or
Mike,
like
are you going to get one?
100s.
I would love to, but once again, kind of have to get past the husband. Like, hey, honey, birthday / Christmas / whatever thing.
Yeah, sure. There you go. Yeah, it's a great gift idea.
Exactly.
Perfect. I told Nikita that's all I want for like one of my like birthday / Christmas. Perfect gift. But
see that and him wrapped up in a bow, and I'm good to go.
Yeah, well, from what I've heard about how people talk about your husband, apparently you're going to be sharing him with like half of the Achievement Hunting Anonymous community or something. I really
should charge, because then I
was
really
gonna
could
say
afford the DLC.
I was going to say get the coin machine out. It's you make sure they got a ticket to ride.
God, I feel for John. Goes to work for like 8 hours, comes home, gets sexualized by the whole AHA community.
Oh, he loves it. Trust me. I got him. Me and him are dorky ass little. Like, I got him making turtle sex noises.
I'm so convinced that if he ever goes to Portugal, like Valak will just kidnap him and you never see him again.
Oh, I'm gonna get him a chastity belt.
I was gonna say, make sure you lock him up tight, because he's gonna have to get a locksmith or something.
All right, let's move on to our controversial topic.
Yeah.
which, I mean, 2 words.
How do we feel about Jewish people? Okay.
Go no. I was gonna say Activision Blizzard.
Oh, that controversy. Oh, okay, right.
Just don't put me anywhere near an oven and I'll be okay.
Next thing you find out, Microsoft's doing ovens.
No.
We'll settle for a camp stove.
God, there's so many. No, I need to, like, we're live on this. I can't edit this, so I need to
pull it back in.
I need to pull it back in just a little bit, because.
All right. Okay, look, it's fine. She made the joke, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It's fine. She made
I was just playing off of him. That's all.
Oh God.
Oh God.
Well, I mean, Matt used to be the only one here with a job.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Sure. Yeah, exactly. Christ. Well, it was good while it lasted.
All right, let's get into the story. So, Activision Blizzard fires more than 20 employees in wake of harassment lawsuit.
Good.
Yeah. So 20 employees have exited. Do it with me. Exited the company.
Exited. Yep.
And another 20 have faced other types of disciplinary action following investigations into sexual harassment and discrimination claims. As reported by the Financial Times, a letter from Chief Compliance Officer Francis Townsend was sent to employees detailing how Activision Blizzard plans to create a more accountable workplace. This has since been published online. In recent months, we have received an increase in reports through various reporting channels. People are bringing to light concerns ranging from years ago to present. We welcome these reports, and our team have been working to investigate them using a combination of internal and external resources. Based on the information received in the initial report, they are assigned into different categories and resources allocated to prioritize the most serious reports first. Are we surprised with anything? I feel like this is a case of the floodgates got opened, everybody actually had the power to voice their concern, and none of this should be surprising in the least.
Yeah, Mike, what do you think?
I just think the whole thing is just so sad. Just the sexual harassment, and it's like, just like, on a serious note, how do you go from making jokes and going to serious?
Yeah, I know. Tone of whiplash, right?
Yeah.
But
it's like, in all seriousness, like any girl gamer, like, we can feel like this is a harassment we get. So it's like, I can't even imagine like working in an actual professional corporate office kind of thing and all this bullshit happening. And it's like, it just really sucks. And it's sad to see that multi-million-dollar companies are just fucking assholes.
Yeah, it's a real lack of accountability as well, right? And I think one of the lines in there that really stood out to me was, people are bringing to light concerns ranging from years ago to the present, which is like the connotations behind that is that like that's them saying, oh, we're dealing with complaints as they come in, but what it really means is, oh, we've had people complaining for a long time about this stuff for ages, and also the fact that it's still happening now. So that's fucked on both. Like if they said, oh, we had a few complaints from like a month or two ago, and that was it, I'd be like, okay, well that sucks. But like either it became an issue and then it got dealt with. This is like, no, this has been an issue for a long time, and it's continued to be an issue up until right to this fucking moment. And the only reason we did anything about it is because of a goddamn lawsuit, and money getting involved with the SEC standing coming in and all that kind of stuff going on. And then also the other thing about this is that they said that more than 20 individuals have exited Activision Blizzard, and more than 20 individuals have faced disciplinary action, right? But none of those people were senior leadership or board members.
Of course.
So none of this is other people who actually allowed this culture to take place. Like it's a ambulance at the bottom of the cliff rather than the guard railing at the top of it, right?
The only positive thing out of it was like I guess some of the head of the company getting subpoenaed.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So and they've had some high profile people leaving as well. And the talk was that maybe they're leaving to try and avoid this stuff, but because of this lawsuit and some of the subpoena stuff, is that like apparently they might be they're bringing back ex-employees potentially for investigations, so they might not be getting away scot-free.
Who is it that took over? It was like Mike Ybarra and what was the chick's name?
I can't remember.
But they were basically like
they were effectively like what do they call it?
Like taking over leadership, or like some
they were co-leading temporarily until they until they sort their shit out, because they had the Diablo 4 director leave. They had one of their lead designers, Jesse McCree, leave, which is really awkward because the character in Overwatch is named McCree because of after them. Don't
name your award-winning franchises after real people.
Yeah, not a good idea, especially if they're still alive. And then one of their senior designers, and then the Blizzard president J. Allen Brack left as well. They've also said that they're expanding their ethics and compliance team, etc., etc.
With another 19 full-time roles, which is good.
Yeah, it looks like steps in the right direction, but also this is very much a by the books PR move, right? To say, oh, hey, we've done this stuff. Here's 19 people where we've disciplined, but none of the people in the top have had anything going on with them. And to be fair, like if you want to give them the benefit of the doubt, you could say, okay, maybe that there's the investigation is still ongoing. There might still be more to happen, but the cynical side of me says this is their like mea culpa, and they're kind of just going to be like, whatever, we're just going to move on.
Yeah. I'm interested to see like whether it's like Ubi, like with their sexual harassment stuff and all that, whether people just move on from that, because that seems like it was just brushed over.
Kia also points out that there's some legal stuff going on that might actually have the case thrown out. To do with some sort of conflict of interest. But again, I guess we'll see how it goes. But
and Robbie just said that the character's new game is Cole Cassidy.
Yeah,
which I mean, that sounds very typical for a Western kind of character.
I guess so.
Cole Cassidy.
Cole Cassidy. It's got a good alliteration to it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, like it's like we've talked about before. It's a fucked situation, and I don't know. I'm being cynical about it because this is Activision Blizzard we're talking about, and they're basically the Satan of video games.
Yeah.
And Bobby Kotick can suck a dick.
Oh, it'll be like 6 months, and they'll fire another like 200 to 300 staff again, like out of nowhere. So.
Yeah.
I mean, it's pretty on track for them, and then he will get like a $1 million a year bonus or some shit. You know what I mean? But yeah. And that's pretty much it for I felt like I had one more story, but I can't find it.
No, I think that's plenty anyway.
Just move on. Game Pass updates. I'll quickly just go through them. I will leave I've played quite a few of the new games that have hit Game Pass at the moment, so I'll leave out the ones and add that more into games that I played this week. But Into the Pit, cloud console and PC, available now. Outriders came out for PC, originally launched back in April, I believe.
Yep.
Dragon Ball FighterZ, Echo Generation, which I hear is very good. Everspace 2 on PC. Age of Empires 4 on PC coming out on October 28th, which I'm massively excited for. Alan Wake's American Nightmare on the 28th. Backbone for console on the 28th, which was originally on the PC, so I don't know if that's a stack.
I don't. I think it's Play Anywhere.
All right, cool. Which is also a very good game. I've just been waiting for a guide. Bassmaster Fishing 2022, October 28th. Non-Guns Doppelganger Edition, October 28th. I have played that one before because I got given a code by Digerati. I didn't really care for it. But it does not hold your hand at all. Which some people will like those kind of games. And The Forgotten City, which is from a Australian studio, is coming out on October 28th. And that's really good.
That's the one I'm really excited about.
Yeah. Multiple playthroughs, though, which I don't really get for those kind of games.
I mean, it's a relatively short game, though, because it's time travel, I think.
So leaving, we have Cardo, we have Celeste, we have Eastshade, Five Nights at Freddy's, Knights and Bikes, and Unruly Heroes.
And Comanche.
And Comanche for PC, which you're not going to worry about because it doesn't have achievements.
I'm pretty sure.
Does it?
Does. Yeah, I think Comanche does, but they're also really difficult.
Okay, then just don't worry about it anyway. If you were going to do anything though, and don't already have Celeste because it was Games of Gold last year or the year before, I'd definitely say go for Todd. What do you put it? No, Todd. No. Definitely go for Cardo if you want to play any of them, because that would be the easiest at 6 hours, I believe. Maybe shorter if you're using
Cardo? Yeah, Cardo you can do pretty quickly. I know
Yeah.
Charlotte was playing through it.
Don't do Knights and Bikes.
Oh, stop.
man.
It's
I-
not
I-
that
okay,
bad.
I joined a party with Steven last night, and he's just like, I fucking hate Valak. Why would he say it's like, Costume Quest? Like, that is
It is,
completely
though.
wrong.
I will. Yeah, we'll talk about it when we get to what we've been playing because I've been playing it as well.
Yeah, me too. I got funny stories.
Yeah.
Moving along, we have touch controls added for Art of Rally, Boyfriend Dungeon, Crown Trick, Curse of the Dead Gods, Gears Tactics, which apparently is really good in Gears Tactics, Lethal League Blaze, Signs of the Sojourner, which would also be very good for that turn-based. The Extent, Train Sim World 2, Yakuza 0, 6, Kiwami, and Kiwami 2.
There's quite a few.
Yep, and the last 3 updates I have are Football Manager 2022 will hit Game Pass for both PC and console on November 9th. San Andreas is coming to Xbox Game... Sorry. San Andreas, the Definitive Edition, is coming to Xbox Game Pass in November at launch, day 1. And Innersloth has announced that the popular deception game Among Us will launch for Xbox consoles into Game Pass on December 14th.
Great.
Oh, my kid's dying for that.
I want to play Among Us, but like everybody, this is the thing. You got the crowd that's just like it's already past its hype and all that. But then you got the achievement hunters that's just like, yeah, it's finally getting achievements, so we can actually play now.
Yeah, let's have a look at the achievement list and see if it's easy.
Hopefully, it's like a 10-hour completion kind of thing. I want to have like a bit of fun with it, but not a easy.
Become
fun.
the imposter 1 million times.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Oh,
So
Yeah,
Friday the 13th achievement list.
yeah.
Oh.
Oh, God.
But that's all the Game Pass updates. I'm actually really excited for San Andreas.
Yeah, me too. Actually, I mean, like, I'm actually really excited for the overall collection. Like, because I was thinking about maybe actually buying it. Maybe I don't know.
I want to play 3 again because it's been, that's nostalgic.
Vice City is my big one because that was kind of when I got into. That was one of my big PlayStation 2 games. Again, when I was way too young to be playing that game.
Same. I played 3 first off, and it's just like, I don't know if I want to achievement hunt it, but I would like to play it again. So it's like, but at the same time, it's like if I start it, then I'm gonna have to play it. And it's like, oh, God damn it.
My brothers and my dad are exact same. Like even today, like when we used to play games, they would always get Grand Theft Auto, and it was just like, we're not playing for the story or anything. You're just going to run over pedestrians and get 5 stars, and that's your hour of fun, and then put it down.
Yeah,
exactly.
Which says so much about my family life.
You use the cheats to spawn a tank, turn the turret backwards, and use it to boost yourself down the bridge, and then turn on Dodo mode, and you can start flying around the map.
Yeah.
Yeah, that or mug the hookers.
Yeah, that too. Yeah, absolutely. Get your health up and then get your money back.
And more in other ways.
Yes, I'm really interested to see it. Like and they've data mined the achievements, and the lists don't actually look too bad. So, as there's a lot of 100% the games and that sort of stuff. But those games were the kind those were games that I played like an achievement hunter before achievements were even a thing, right? Like they were the games I did everything, got gold and all the challenges and did all the rampages and just milked the hell out of the game.
I'd go out and buy day 1 if they fixed the Run Like the Wind for GTA 5.
Fuck, yeah, I mean, I'd buy it twice.
But
you hear me, Rockstar? Get that shit fixed.
We're not supporting any games.
No, exactly.
And that's final. I don't know.
All right.
You want to go into what games you played, Matt?
Yeah, I'll just kind of rattle through it. I finished up Death's Door. I think I might have been a little harsh on the game last week.
Yeah, I thought so too.
I definitely don't think it's game of the year by any means. But I think it's still, I think it's I was thinking 7. I think it's an 8. I think it's a solid 8. It's a really well made game. Once you get a few more abilities, it opens up a little bit more. The story gets a little bit more interesting. the environments change up enough that I was like, oh, okay, this is some cool stuff here. I'm still not a huge fan of the combat. It's okay, but it's really just kind of.
I think for what they've like that, this is their first game. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
As well.
Okay. So
for
yeah,
what
like,
they've achieved for such a small team, and the fact that it's reasonably priced.
Yeah. Like for a small indie title, like it didn't need to be a AAA thing. I really like it for what it is. But like the fights, like I mean, part of the reason was like I'm using that umbrella, which makes it take twice as long to kill anything, and I really feel like that takes away a lot of the like enjoyment of the game. It just turns it into a bit more of a slog than it needs to be.
How do you feel with that final boss fight?
The final boss fight was actually not too bad. It was definitely challenging, but I think I had more trouble with the Betty boss fight actually, because I was going with a melee build when I should have gone with a range build.
Yeah.
I think that going with like improving your magic and speed is really the way to go, I think.
Yeah.
Because I went with speed and melee, and just kind of like I was good for getting in there and doing a lot of damage, but because I was using the umbrella, everything was halved anyway. The minute I finished the game and did like the sort of post game stuff and got to use the broadsword, holy shit, the game became like a cakewalk. Just like ripping through stuff. But yeah, like I definitely still recommend it. I'm sure it'll get added to Game Pass. It's like definitely that kind of game. But if you see it on a good sale, definitely pick it up.
I think it's like $15 this week or something like that.
Oh yeah, that's a great deal. Also played some Blues and Bullets, which is I was really sad about this, but like I wanted to play some narrative stuff, and started playing.
So you wanted the start of the story, but not the ending.
Yeah, exactly. I wanted the cock tease of the beginning of a thrilling noir detective tale with all kinds of weird shit going on with literally no conclusion in sight.
Have you done D4 yet?
I have D4 as the same thing. Yeah. Exactly.
I was literally just about to ask you that too.
I love D4. So
that game was cool.
It's so good, but so sad that people didn't jump on it.
If you like D4, you guys should definitely play the AI Somnium Files game, because it has that styling to it. It actually has it's all in there. It actually has like a relatively good wrap up, and it's on Game Pass. So, and the achievements are easy. But yeah, Blues and Bullets was not bad. It's a little cheap. Like you could tell there's like like the animations are kind of reused a lot, and like don't really match up with what people are saying a lot of the time. But it was kind of an interesting story. I got really distracted though, because the main guy, Ness, Elliot Ness, is voice acted by the same guy who does Geralt in The Witcher. So every time I just heard him talk, I was just like, "Wind's howling." Like I was just waiting. Like all I could think about was like, "Yeah, you want to play Gwent?" But yes, so but it was interesting. Like it's like I like the idea, but it has these weird like third-person shooter segments that are really bad. And it just kind of like I kind of get why it didn't really get a third or fourth or fifth episode. Like I kind of get why it got cancelled. But it's really unfortunate, because it was a really cool idea. I like the aesthetic, and I kind of like how the story was going, but the actual gameplay and like the production values were a little low.
It has that kind of Sin City aesthetic to it, doesn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. That comic book, like really dark and gritty with a lot of reds jumping out at you. Yeah. I also started playing Life is Strange: True Colors.
Ooh, how was it?
Only got through the first chapter, but I absolutely love it.
Better than the original?
Oh, I really like the original. I think that it's kind of unfair to compare them, because the original kind of did a lot of new stuff quite early on. But I think this is a lot more refined. Like they've stripped away a lot of the stuff that isn't that great and added new things, and kind of made it a bit more of just kind of a hanging out simulator, fish out of water. You essentially you've been in the foster care system for like 8 years, and you meet up with your brother, who you haven't seen after all this time because you got split up, and you've moved to this new town, like a typical sort of town in Colorado. And I was talking to Allison about it, and she's like, "Yeah, no, that's literally just a town in Colorado. Like it's 100% accurate to what it's like there."
Basically Loveland, Colorado.
Basically Loveland, Colorado. So it's cute, because it's like you get to kind of wander around and meet all like the everyone knows, like it has that weird experience where you walk in and everyone's like, oh, you must be this person, and you're like, oh, okay, hi, person I've never met before, but for some reason knows my whole life story. Yeah, and it's kind of like you kind of see where it's going. It has that sort of like small town, like that there's people, there's like controversy and like drama, and like it's kind of cute to start with. But in true like Life is Strange fashion, it kind of goes into like a thing that happens that changes how you'll all look at things. You can probably figure it out pretty early on from like, you're like, oh, okay, I see where this is going. Like, there are some hints in there. But I'm only in the first chapter, so I finished the first chapter, started the second. I want to play more of it, but it's very narrative based and kind of like you need to sit down and put a lot of time into it. But like it's not a super long game, but like you need to be in the mood for like, okay, this is like not like there's not a lot of input here. It's more just kind of having an interactive story, making some decisions, and really getting involved in the narrative. But it's got my really terrible sense of humor in it, where if you're playing the game, when you go into the flower shop, make sure you talk to the gnome. You can put sunglasses on him. There's like a little garden gnome. You put sunglasses on him. It's great. And then it just goes into like, she's like, but you and your brothers just start riffing off gnome puns back and forth, and the person behind the counter just gets really fucking upset with you, and it just ends with no problem, you know. And I was just like, that's just top tier. I really like the main character. Like that was my problem with Life is Strange 2, was that I didn't like any of the characters. Like the main character was okay, but the brother was like the most annoying fucking little shit in the world. And like I was like, the whole thing was like, oh, you need to protect your brother and get him out of the situation because he, accidentally fucking killed someone. And I was like, every opportunity I was like, nah, just leave the kid. It's fine. It's like, not interested. He's a little shit. I hate him. Whereas like this, I'm like the characters are likable and like not whiny and kind of interesting and cute, and it's a very sweet game, which like kind of goes back a little bit more to how I thought about Life is Strange 1, although that had the drama, but it was a bit more catty because it was high school. But I would definitely recommend checking it out so far. But I'll report back. I'll probably try and finish it this week if I have time. I've also played East Shade, which is a game I've out because it's leaving Game Pass, which is another chill experience where essentially I described it as Morrowind if they took all the combat out of it. So
yeah, it's pretty much
right, because it's like you're on a boat. You start off on a boat. You choose your name. You go and talk to some people who look really weird because they are like low poly, and they're all like animal people or strange like creatures. And then your boat sinks, and you just have wander around an island, painting things and doing quests for people. Like that's literally all there is to the game. It's just like, oh, just explore these nice things. Have a look at these nice. You need to paint like 4 specific views. That like, cause it's like your mother's dying wish that you go to this island and see all these things that she saw. And you're like, okay, cool, go paint these things, and then you can leave the island, and that's pretty much it. Like it's there's like a light crafting system. There's like a light fishing mechanics. There's some like minor questing around, like trying to figure out some minor puzzles and that kind of stuff. But it's a very chill, like walking simulator, and the environment is really beautiful. You get to like look at plants and pick them up and make things out of them, and you make like a reed boat, and you kind of can put it out and go and like explore. And like there's like a northern region which is all kind of unexplored and glacier like, and there's different biomes, and it starts off quite big and like overwhelming, but as you get a feel for the island, you can kind of get from one place to the other quite easily and take shortcuts. And I actually had like a really nice sort of chill experience with it. There's an amazing guide on TA. It will walk you through it, like really, like it'll cut out a lot of the backtracking and prepare you for a lot of the stuff, and takes a lot of the, like that would be the only thing is that like, okay, well I need to go paint this thing, so I need to walk there, talk to the guy, paint the thing, walk back to him, and where it's like, no, like it'll tell you, I just paint this thing because you'll need it later, and it's like really sort of helpful and easy. So I would definitely recommend doing it. It's a really quick completion, like maybe 6 to 8 hours. You've got a week to do it. I would just get on it.
Come here, kitty.
Oh, is it kitty? Oh, kitty.
She's like, the whole time I'm listening to you, she's whapping me in the face with her tail. Like, come here, kitty.
Show us the kitty. Oh, look at you.
Here's Rose.
Oh.
You want to be on camera? Kitty.
Oh, what a cutie.
She's purring.
Oh.
Here, kitty. You can say her. No? Okay. I've embarrassed her. Go on, fatty. Okay.
I also staying on the Game Pass train. I played and completed Visage last night.
Not scary at all, right?
So yeah, like so you two were talking about it in the party the other night, and kind of made me want to play it so I could get an idea of wanted to talk about it this week. It's definitely unsettling. But I only got I only got jump scared like once. But to be honest, the game's more frustrating than anything. I
didn't find it scary at all.
I don't I can definitely it's got good atmosphere. Like it's got really good atmosphere, and I like the mind bendy shit, and like the bit where it's like, oh well, like the house itself is really interestingly designed. Like I like how like once you figure out like, oh, like it's all really well connected, and like there's a lot of interesting stuff that can go on, and they play with it a lot. And then like the stuff that's like outside the house when you go to like parts where they won't even let you save, which is like it won't let you save because they don't want to regenerate the assets in case it fucks up. But but yeah, like I really like the idea of the game, and like kind of the story was like I don't know what the fuck's going on, and just kind of was like whatever.
Yeah, you're not the only one. I'm sitting there. I thought I got to the last chapter, and I was like, all right, this is kind of, I see what they're kind of going for.
Yeah.
Then you get the very last ending, and you're like,
fucking what?
Yeah.
What?
I was like, yeah. So I was like, okay, well, like I don't get it. I don't get it. Get it in air quotes, right? Like I'm sure there was some deep, meaningful thing that they wanted to, some sort of. I don't think they told a very good story. I think the gameplay is also like not great. I don't really like the holding thing in one hand, holding thing in the other, having to drop stuff and put stuff into inventory and stuff. Like they should have just had as an overall inventory, one thing in your hand, and you just swap it out. Like it felt clunky.
Yeah.
And then I never found any candles. Did you guys find candles?
I found plenty of candles.
Ton of candles.
Oh, I never found any. Like maybe I just wasn't looking, but like I never found a single candle.
Out of interest, what order did you go in?
I did the mirror, and then I did the drawing, and then I did the crutch.
Okay,
so you did Dolores, Lucy, Racken?
Yeah.
Racken?
Yeah.
What the fuck his name was?
Racken. Yeah.
Whereas I did the crutch first, then then Lucy's, and I haven't done the other one yet.
I think that Dolores' one is probably the worst. I mean, like it's kind of interesting, but the whole mirror thing, it's the one I spent the most time on because I was just kind of trying to figure out the game, and like you
used the guide, imagine.
Yeah, definitely, because I think my biggest problem is the signposting in the game. Like it's a lot of wandering around trying to figure out what you're supposed to do next. Like sometimes they're really good about it, where it's like there's a part in the Lucy bit where they lead you with the light switches.
I think when you're actually in the story itself, it's fine.
Yeah.
But when you're outside of it, it's just horrible.
Yeah, I will agree with that totally. Like I was sitting there smashing the mirrors, and I'm running up to mirrors going, Hulk smash! And it's like, let's see what's in this one. Okay, let's go to the next one. Oh, there's another one. Hulk smash!
Yeah.
Bam.
It's like a real like it felt a little too open and not as well guided as it should be.
Yeah.
And like they try to guide you by basically killing you if you go the wrong way, which I'm like kind of works, but yeah, it got like there's a part in the Lucy chapter where you follow the light switches up and you see Lucy's room, right? And you're supposed to go into Lucy's room, and you walk up to the door, but there's like an invisible barrier, so you can't walk into the door. The door's slightly open, and I was like, oh, okay, that's weird. Actually,
I want to talk about the mechanic too, because actually figuring out to grab a door and to pull it to me, it just felt so stupid.
I'm used to that from things like
that's
Amnesia.
In a lot of games.
I was gonna say that's an Amnesia,
okay.
and yeah, so like I
don't kind of play these kind of games because they bore me.
Yeah, sure, right. Like that's been the established mechanic around like peeking around a door instead of just having it fucking slam open like it's a Resident Evil game. And also make it more tense.
Did you guys ever have it when you were playing Dolores' chapter? Where with the windows or the mirrors, okay?
Yes.
When you actually went back into that original room and you were trapped in there?
Yeah. Yeah.
And she's whispering,
I didn't do Dolores chapter
and I'm
yet,
like,
so...
Yeah, like there's a lot of like because the game is kind of like randomly tries to fuck with you. Like it's the whole thing was like you see paranormal events, they turn lights off and on. I kind of get what they're going for, right? Because like if you make a game where the jump scares are always the same, where it's like every single person has the same exact experience when something spooky happens, it kind of is like, okay, well, whatever. It's like, okay, I turn this corner, there's going to be a jump scare. But you turn the corner, there might not be a jump scare. There might not be this, or they might like turn the light off, or like it felt like an interesting idea that wasn't executed as well as it should have been. But like the invisible barrier stuff was really annoying because like I walk up to this door with Lucy's room, right? And I'm like, well, I know I need to go into the room because that's like where she is. And I'm like, I can see her in the room, but like you can see her on the corner. I'm like, well, I'm trying to open the door, but I can't actually get to the door because there's like an invisible barrier, which is a few of those in the game. So I'm like, oh, well, I'll go into the master bedroom and go through the connecting closet. And that's what the guide said to do as well. And I was like, oh, well, okay. But the door's jammed. So I'm like going back and wandering around. And then suddenly I've been wandering around for too long. And then Dolores comes up and kills me. I'm like, okay, well, what am I fucking doing? And also the controller's vibrating the whole time for this reason, for something. And I'm just like, what the fuck is going on? I'm like, is my game broken?
It feels like a lot of them are timed. Like you have to...
Yeah, exactly. There's a lot of like you need to do something in a certain period of time where it turned out I had to look in the corner and look at Lucy for a certain period of time for the door to slam and then it would open up the other one.
Yeah,
and I was like, I get it. Like I understand like what they're trying to do.
Part you're talking about now. I'm trying to rack my brain. Yeah, I remember that.
And I was like, the guy didn't mention it, and I was like, I was kind of like I kind of get what they're going for, right? Like it's like want to be like, oh, like you see her and suddenly it's spooky, but it's like you actually have to stare at her for like 10 seconds before anything happens. I'm like, okay, like you need to. It needed to be tightened up just a little bit. Like you needed to maybe
it doesn't help with a guide, like. Because it won't give you that kind of information. You'll have to figure out what you're missing.
And also, like, things happen out of order and that sort of stuff. Like, like there's a part of the Dolores chapter where, like, she'll shut the lights off. And, like, you'll have to go you have to go to find the electrical room to turn the breakers back on.
Yeah. Oh, Jesus Christ. I was shitting myself. Freaking all of a sudden, the lights go out, and I'm trying to find... I was, like, at the very last end part of Dolores.
Yep.
And it's like, oh, where the fuck do I go? But I got no lights, and everything's vibrating.
Yep.
And
yeah, exactly. And you're like, okay, well, I need to find a light. Also, like, the guide was like, okay, go into Dolores' room at the beginning and pick up a lighter. And I'm like, oh, there is not a lighter in that room because it's randomly generated. So I was like, oh, shit, okay. I'm just going to have to wander around in the dark for a bit.
Yeah.
So and then I just kept being, oh, your sanity's dropping. I'm like, yes, it fucking is because I'm playing this game and I can't see anything.
Does that actually do anything though? Like I felt like it.
The sanity.
Like the pills didn't do anything personally.
So basically, again, that's the thing, right? Is that I think the mechanic was that if your sanity gets higher, it's more likely for the ghost to show up. And if your sanity gets too high, the ghost will just show up and not disappear until you find pills and take them.
Okay.
Because you can't reduce your sanity. But the thing is, like, it was always never an issue. In the same way that I never found candles, I only found like one set of pills, and I didn't even pick them up because I didn't need them. I had like I eventually found a shitload of lighters. Like it helped that I had a guide, but like the whole thing with their thing is that like the starting thing says, oh, the game is tough and you need to manage your resources. The only reason you need to manage your resources is because the game is so unclear about what you actually have to do that you just end up wandering around wasting them, which I think is bad game design.
Yeah. I'm trying.
Excuse me for just a second. I heard a thud, and I gotta check on the little one.
yeah.
Give me a second.
I'll be back. What was I gonna say? There was a few things with it. Like I didn't get scared by it. Like I just thought it was But I mean that's just horror. Like in general for me. Like I said to Mike the other day, games like Layers of Fear scare me more because like I think about the media after. I think of the fact that somebody's probably, if somebody used to go through that, like slowly lose their sanity, like that's believable to a point.
Sure.
Like you could picture some Renaissance painter using his dead wife as an artwork.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, sure. Yeah, I mean it's a little far fetched, but I get what you mean, right? It's the
plausibility of it.
The believability it makes it more relatable.
And we said the same thing, like where something like 28 Days Later is a lot more believable than something like Dead Rising.
Yeah, exactly. Where it's like rabies does make people like crazy, and like if you had a modified rabies virus, like that might be a realistic thing that could happen. But, I mean, it probably wouldn't happen quite in that way, but sure.
There was two funny things that I need to, because I streamed 4 hours of Visage the other day just to get a feel for it. Mm-hmm. First one was Lucy chasing after me and me thinking that a door in the way was.
I laughed my ass off because I was like, I saw that bit and I was.
And then I just looked at her. I'm just like, what did I expect?
It was like, yeah, you're like, oh, I'm gonna close the door on the ghost. that'll stop her.
But I just had to clip that after because it was great. And then the other one was actually there's another two that was violating the teddy bears because I thought there was a key under there in the tree. And it was just like I was just chatting and I'm just like I've looked up like behind all these pages. There's no key there. Like it's either got to be behind the pages, it's got to be under the teddy bear's butt. So I'm searching under all the teddy bears' butts, and I'm just like, well, I just violated a whole bunch of teddy bears for no reason at all. Finally find it after like the third page, and what was the other? Like, there's just a lot of things that are just way too predictable. Like you going through the hospital, getting up to a window. It's just like, all right, I'm gonna be thrown out the window. Like,
oh yeah, okay, yeah. Like it was like, I'm gonna lean out the window and look for like 30 seconds. Like, yeah, obviously you're gonna get thrown out.
Yeah, like stuff like that. But that felt very Outlast to me compared to the other chapters, which I still like Outlast because I will like horror games that feel like they stress the urgency of the situation.
Sure, Outlast does that. Holy shit.
And Outlast, does that beautifully. And the other
and the penis doesn't have like it helps
that,
too. You know?
That scares me too. I'm always terrified.
And then the last thing was going through Lucy's chapter with the bird cages. And me not finding a lighter on the bottom of the floor. So I'm just like, all right, because I'm not using a guide, I'm using the camera to light up the room and search for the key. And for like 10 minutes, I'm doing the exact same motion. And I'm just like, all right, she's over there. She's there. And obviously that just adds so much more darkness to and like makes it so much more scarier. Like
yeah, I guess so, right? But it also makes it like it's.
I should have just found a lighter.
Yeah, right. Yeah, like you should have had like 5 lighters on you, apparently.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. Like, I think it's an interesting. I think it's a good attempt, and like I 100% agree with you with the Outlast feel. Like it feels like each chapter is kind of a different style of horror. And that like the Outlast thing is like because you end up running away from those fucking mannequins and shit, and like trying to dodge stuff and actually having to like get around stuff, and it's it's more of like a running simulator. Whereas.
What we talked about, like, I think it would have just been a lot better if it was just one story into like an 8-hour. Like, campaign.
Yeah, I think so. I think the wandering around the house part is kind of like my least favorite. But like I appreciate the effort, and like it's definitely got a lot of good artwork that's gone into it, and like a lot of like they've obviously thought about a lot of stuff, and I like the design and the aesthetic and everything. But I think just like playing the game is not as fun or as interesting as I was hoping.
Yeah.
See, I have the different opinion. Like. I felt like actually exploring that's what terrified the ever-loving fuck out of me. Because like just the dark corridors, the creepiness, you got the thing blaring up in your ear and you don't know what the hell's going to happen. Because I went into it raw as well. I just had a guide just for the collectibles. Like that's all I had. So I didn't miss anything. But as I'm wandering around the halls, you hear the creaking and the clicking. And it's like you're exploring each room and you're picking up stuff. You're interacting with it. I don't know. Like to me, that's creepier than... Like, oh, now I found the next chapter to go to. Okay, cool. And then it's like, then it's a little straightforward.
Yeah,
like, Riken's The Crutch wasn't, like, it was a little, it got me, like, maybe once or twice, but it wasn't as scary as, like, Dolores scared the ever-loving piss out of me, and Lucy scared the ever-loving piss out of me. And then the final chapter was just like, what is this? Like,
I don't even, the final chapter, like, goes off the fucking deep end in terms of, like, what are they even doing here? Like, some of those VHS tapes.
It was, and then getting the void ending. Oh my god, that was so boring.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, I feel like they didn't quite stick the landing. I think it's a good attempt. I'll play Visage 2. You know.
Yeah, why not? Hey, gamer score. Well, we play about anything.
This is true.
When it hits a Game Pass like 3 years later.
Yeah.
Oh hell yeah.
I've also been playing a lot of the Friday the 13th puzzle game.
Oh yeah. How's that?
It's okay. You just follow a guide to get all the way through it. I'm stuck on the last bit where you need to get a murder thing of 30. Where you got to get there's like a little thing and you have to hit it right in the middle every single time. Yep. I got to 28. I fucked it up and you get like you get a do-over. So that you get like one chance to redo it. And I got to 29 and then I fucked it up there. And then I did the same thing
and then I was
twice.
like,
I got to 29 again. So I haven't been able to get above 29. I was very upset with myself.
So once you complete this game, you're gonna go and do Friday the 13th to get the series completion, right?
Fuck no. Never playing that.
Join the party.
No, that did not sound like a party. It sounded like a fucking wake. All right, like I think I'm good.
Oh, we had so much fun. Hey, I did that nice little cross stitch thing,
Yeah, what?
or like.
It would be a good game if it was like about 150 hours lighter.
Yeah,
Hours
sure.
does not mean it's a good game.
No,
It just
exactly,
means
yeah.
You're forced to play it longer.
Exactly. Yeah, so like it's fine. Like it's like weird and campy, and like it's a good license for that. Like because it's basically just Slay Away Camp, but with Jason Voorhees in it. So great.
Mephisto says, "Yeah, go play it now." Oh, we know your game. Catch up 120,000 gamer score.
Yeah.
While
exactly.
he's doing your 200 hour completion.
Well, I'm pretty sure Mephisto's actually finished this one. So, so clearly he can kill 30 people in a row. But yeah, the last thing I just finished was Knights and Bikes, which I've been playing with Charlotte. Man, this game's boring.
Which character were you?
I was Nessa.
Okay.
Yeah, I understand what Valak means by saying that it feels like it has a Costume Quest kind of feel to it. Like it was published by Double Fine, but wasn't developed by them. But you can really see the influence, right? Like it has the same sort of very cute art style. Yeah, like Charlotte said, it was a very cute game. I like the dialogue. It was very like kind of heartwarming and interesting and like quite funny. But playing the game was kind of fucking boring. Like the combat was kind of just eh. Like you didn't really get like you got a couple of weapons, but none of them were all that interesting. You didn't have any like leveling mechanics, or like there wasn't like a skill tree, or there wasn't really a lot of progression to the game. It just kind of felt like you would go to an area, try to figure out like a relatively simple puzzle, and then fight a few enemies until you fight off a simple puzzle. And then yeah, Charlotte mentions that she was drawing dicks with the bike. That was very fucking funny. Because
I like, just for a quick second,
Yeah.
Mythic Quest on Apple TV, which is a show about game development. They have a whole, I think the whole second episode is just like, give any player any chance to, and they'll draw a dick with it.
Pretty much, yeah. And Charlotte proved that. Because we were going through, we're both on bikes, I'm driving around, and then she just like starts like drawing circles and stuff, and I'm like, what the fuck is she doing? And I look over and it's just a massive fucking schlong just drawn in the dirt. I'm like, I don't know what I expected.
Oh,
But-
that's great.
Assassin's Creed Valhalla, just like you're just doing eagle viewpoint. And
Yeah,
it's like,
exactly.
Oh, look at that massive dick down there.
Yeah, there's a huge one. Yeah, exactly. It's but like I think my problem with the game is I think having it being like an open world game where you need to travel between each sort of set area actually kind of is like not the right fit for that game, because there's big swaths of just nothing. Like there are a few characters to talk to and there's a few collectibles to get, but a lot of it is just biking through wilderness. Not even any enemies. Like, and it's just like, oh well, where do I go? It's like, well, I'm just gonna follow the goose, who is hilarious.
Yes, Sir Reginald.
Was it Captain Honkers? So
it's
good.
Captain Honkers, but we called him Sir Reginald. Nev doesn't get to say. I call him Sir Reginald III, and I would constantly feed him. Nev just wanted to eat him.
That's so cute. He's so cute. And like when he does the thing in the cutscene where he's just sitting on his back with his legs up, just hanging out.
No,
It's very like adorable. Has a really nice style to it, but I just kind of felt like I was just kind of going from place to place, and like some of the levels were okay and the jokes were good, but Charlotte loved kicking poo at people. Yep, it has that kind of feel of like a school holiday, like summer holidays, that you hanging out with your friends, just kind of biking around, just doing weird shit, imagining cool things, and just kind of having like a cool experience and stumbling on like a cool adventure. And I kind of got what they were going for, but as a game, like it's not really that fun to play.
Yeah, I can see what you're saying with that. Like that makes sense to exactly what you're saying. I personally had an absolute blast playing it because me and Nev ran through it. Actually, we just finished it the other night.
Oh, I imagine Nev the whole time would have been adding the comedy element in as well.
Yeah, that was the same thing with Charlotte. Like Charlotte and I were just like we literally just we played until like 1 o'clock this morning, just finishing up, getting the ending. And we had a great time. Like we had a great time like playing with together, like is the trick, right? But like if I was playing the game solo, like I would have been bored out of my mind.
Yeah.
Like I would have just been.
Is the co-op as bad as people say though? Like they said, it's like very buggy.
The game is buggy. The game is real buggy. Like I fell through the level quite a few times. We after we finished the game, we swapped characters. Because we wanted to do the disc throwing kicking achievement. So I was doing the kicking because I've got better timing.
The real reason why you switched.
So that's why you got to 29 like 3 times in a row, yeah?
Yeah. Okay. Sure. Yeah. Okay. But yeah, so you're doing the kicking bit, and it was like, okay, like we just. But the thing is, we had to restart it because we were playing on my profile, so Charlotte had to just do like the first day. We got to the bit where you open up the, you reveal the bike and you get into the thing and you get the bike for the first time. I fell off the map, and then Charlotte fell off the map, and then Charlotte couldn't see anything, and then and then we tried reloading it, and it reloaded us before the tutorial, but thinking we'd done the tutorial. So you would go and reveal the bike and then try to get on it, and it would just repeat the cutscene over and over and over and over again. So we had to restart the whole day.
Oh, it's funny that you mentioned that, okay? Because we had a bug happen to us. We were at the very final end where you do that massive wave of like the okay. I had gone down because the genie whipped my ass, and Nev tried to get me up, and on my screen I was still down, but on his screen I was up.
Right.
And we get all the way to the freaking cutscene, and it put him in where he was supposed to put you, and it put me back upstairs, and it auto-saved. So we had to redo that whole chapter just to get back up there to the end.
I'm glad that chapter 6 is at least short, right? Because like chapter 5, like that was the other thing, is that like the chapters also felt like a bit too long. Like some of them, I think like
I felt like a slug.
It was a real slog getting up that fucking mountain. Like the rest of them, I think we're fine. But like, 5, I really felt like could have been half as long, and they could have put a bit more into 6. But, and then Charlotte also mentioned there was a ghost goose. So the goose honks. So the goose honks to tell you where to go, right?
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
And
same thing.
And so I was like, okay, well, we have to head towards the theme park. And I was like, well, the goose is telling me to go back towards the town. So I started going towards the town. And Charlotte's like, we get there, and I'm just sitting there, and Charlotte's like, what the fuck are you doing? And I'm waiting for the goose to move. And she's like, the goose is in the other fucking direction. I'm like, what are you talking about? I'm like, I can see it right there. And I took a fucking screenshot, sent it to her, and she sent me one. I see the goose. She doesn't see the fucking goose. It turns out the goose was actually, her screen was going in the right direction. My one just fucking, I was in a parallel universe where the goose was just fucking being retarded. I don't know what was going on.
We had the same thing happen to us too. We had the exact same thing happen. And luckily we had Valak in the party with us when we were playing it. And he was just like, oh yeah, that happened to me and me and Kitten too. Don't worry about it. Just whoever's closest direction towards the right way we're supposed to go, just follow that one.
Oh my god. Yes, I was a little less than impressed. And also the guide, the walkthrough on TA is
garbage.
It's bad. It's bad. Also, it puts the image for a thing and then the text for it afterwards, which makes no fucking sense.
Oh my god, that confused. We were sitting there. And me and Neb, I don't have a lot of experience with text walkthroughs. I don't really personally like them. I'd rather have a video guide.
Yeah, okay? So I text walkthrough all the way, but yeah.
And he's reading it, and he's just like, what the fuck? So then I start reading it with him, and I'm like, there's actually was a couple of times where he's like, keep going east, and you were actually supposed to go west. Yeah, like it was like, and there was also bits where it was like, okay, go north and then goes west, and it was like, okay, well I've gone there. It's like, oh, actually no, you need to go further north and then west, and it's like, again, part of that is frustrating.
Part of that is that because the game is like Costume Quest was really good because it was cute, it had good styling, had good jokes, but it was like condensed areas. You had limited options, whereas like this is a bit too open for that to work, and like that combined with the bad guide, I think just kind of left a bad taste in my mouth around the game in general. Unfortunately,
I can see that.
But like it's a relatively simple completion. It's got good ratio. It's leaving Game Pass. I would still recommend it if you got someone to play it with, but if you're playing it solo, don't bother.
Yeah, I agreed. I wouldn't. Yeah. It would be boring as fuck.
Yeah.
It's like, you know how like they had like little video game console inside the little trailer. Mm-hmm. Me and Nev spent like what, good 20-30 minutes just going like beating the shit out of each other, and Valak's just like, are you guys still on the first chapter? It's like, maybe. It's like a rematch.
I do like the little competitive things they just throw in there, where it's just like suddenly it's like, okay, well now it's like a fight between two action figures, and you have to keep mashing the A button to beat each other up. Like it's got a really nice style and aesthetic to it, and like I like the idea of the story and stuff, but I just feel like playing it wasn't as fun as I was hoping. But anyway, that's my long-winded way of saying that I have been very busy this week. There's been a lot going, but that puts me at 10,750 for this week.
Very nice. Mike, what next?
Yeah, what have you been up to recently?
Oh, a lot of garbage. I have been playing because like I was telling you guys before we actually got publicized or started the goddamn words. You know what I'm trying to say?
Recording, yeah.
So anyway, though, like I've got a massive backlog of just baby games. I'm not even joking. There's at least 200, and I'm tired of fucking looking at them. So it's like, you know what? I'm doing at least one a day, and if I get the gumption, I'll do another one. But sprinkled in between that, it's horror month. I'm playing horror because I love to be scared, and I'm a giant pussy. So it's great. Like I've played, like just this week. Let's see. I did Visage. I did Made of Skier.
Oh,
Made of Skier is good. Oh, I love it more than Visage because even though Visage scared me more, the story, the aesthetics, the just gameplay, beautiful. If you haven't played it, play it. You need to play it. It's a fucking awesome game. And don't let the freaking title update scare you. Yeah, it's a bit of a bitch.
A little bit, yeah.
The first three are fucking easy because it's literally the same map for all three of them, or all four of them, okay? It's the same exact map. Hell, even the freaking items spawn in the same exact spots, okay? It's the only thing that changes up is the enemies. But that's it. Once you know where you need to go, it's not that bad. Like, the only thing that makes the fourth one the hardest is that you don't got any restarts, and it's on the hardest difficulty. So it's a bitch, but it's doable. You know, it took me like maybe 4 or 5 hours of trying, and I finally got it. It's not that bad. I saw that face.
I was like, it's this is Wales Interactive put out Made of Skier, right? Which is weird to me because it's not usually their kind of game, but
they kicked ass with it though. Like the collectibles, the collectibles.
They published it though, didn't they?
I think they published it, yeah.
Like the collectibles were freaking easy enough to find. Like there wasn't 100 of them scattered all over the fucking place. Hell, I found half of them freaking just on the path the way to go. Like I had a video guide up. It was in French, but I don't need to read.
The collectible
Yes, yeah.
Gotta, you know, I just need to know where the collectible is. I can see, I just can't understand what the fuck you're saying. But he had a really good guide. Like it had everything in place, and the list seems a little intimidating because like going through the whole game without saving was scary to look at first, but once I actually did it, it really wasn't that bad. Like hell, because I had just beaten the hard mode, and I'm like, all right, now it's time to go back on easy and just do the run with no saving. And I'm literally being a bold ass motherfucker. Like I'm just juicing them, I'm running past them. You know, I'm doing a little bit of tea bags here and there. Like it's like, okay, like, you know, now that I've played hard, this really isn't that bad. It's quite easy.
Just to temper that a little bit, I will say you've finished Outlast though, right? You've got all the achievements for Outlast, right? Like yes. your level of what a difficult horror game is and how difficult it is a little different to a lot of other people. I will just say, just to warn the listeners.
There is a reason why they call me mad, you know?
Yeah.
But I would just say, because it was Games with Gold, if you haven't played it, definitely play it. It's an awesome fucking game. What else have I played? What did I play this week? Streets of Rogue for PC. I'm actually running that one with my oldest.
Oh.
It's so much fun, and it's so easy too, in all honesty, because there's in-game modifiers that you can use.
Oh, okay. I didn't know about that.
So like you have to do a lot of the shit is like incidental, like situational. I mean, is what I'm looking for. But you have to do a run through it anyway. And like one of the things is like the hardest one is getting elected by God, words. Jesus. You're being elected as mayor. Okay,
Right,
so
yeah.
like you have to play as like a specific character, and like you can't kill anyone, and you got to be careful. So it was perfect if you've got a second person to play with you, and it is online co-op. I have to say. Okay.
Okay.
Nice.
All right.
But I had Lily be the vampire character, and she would just literally go ape shit, murdering people, sucking blood, like just rampaging. And I'm just sitting there, you know, just doing the quests that I can do to get better rep. And it's like, oh, this is perfect. I feel like I'm actual politician. Like,
let the bloodsuckers do all the hard work. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
exactly.
It's just delegation.
Like we only got a couple achievements left with it, but like I don't get to play with her a lot because with her being back in school and everything. So it's like, you know, we'll maybe get like maybe 3-4 hours here and there to play it. So it's like I'm getting through it, but it is taking a little bit longer, but still having an absolute blast with it. What else did I play? I mentioned a lot of shit. Played a lot of baby
A lot of
games.
trash. Yep.
I was gonna say something else too. Oh yeah, Knights and Bikes I also played, but we were talking about that with you as well. Like me and Nev had an absolute blast playing through that shit. Like as buggy as it was, I still had so much fun playing it. And like I see what you were saying about the whole, it drags on a little bit with the wilderness areas and like. But I think if the guide would have been a little bit better of like describing where the shit was.
Yeah, I think part of that is more how I ended up having to play it is probably maybe more.
Yeah, it was a bit of a pain in the ass. Actually, tonight after this podcast, me and Nev are gonna play House of Ashes.
Oh,
I can't wait.
yes, I'm very
Every
excited to
year.
play
So it's kind of our tradition. So every year, Valak and Red play it, like they're their group, and then me and Nev are our group, and we just go raw dogging it, right, freaking straight it, no guides, no nothing, just see how many people we can kill.
Yeah,
I usually have. Oh yeah, Back for Blood. Thank you, Robbie. You are fucking awesome. I've got a terrible memory issue, so I'm just like, as I'm talking, I'm trying to like piece the things together. It's like, oh fuck, like just trying to remember what I've played. But yeah, I've been playing Back for Blood with Robbie. It's just like Left 4 Dead, and I think that's why I love it so much, because I absolutely love Left 4 Dead's, like the 1 and 2. So many good memories, so many fond memories. The multiplayer for Back 4 Blood can go suck my fucking dick, but other than that, so much fun. We're just being absolute freaking dorks going through it, like. And I think that's pretty much it. I can't think of off the top of my head. I've terrible memory. I had it written down somewhere, but the kids doodled on it.
Oh, okay, no worries.
Kids.
So what score did you get for the week?
Oh, I think 17,000. I think
17,265.
what he said.
Which is a damn good score. Cameron, what about you, mate?
So I've been basically like streaming every single day except for yesterday. This week just to get in the habit of it, and I've basically just been playing games that have been in Game Pass.
Mm-hmm.
So last week I did The Good Life after the podcast, and I did not really care for it at all.
Yeah, I remember you said, yeah.
Yes.
Like, you want to... I'm curious to hear why, because I'm a big fan of...
So, like, the whole premise of it is, like, you can turn into a cat and dog and you use it to, like, solve all the puzzles and do that. And it's pretty much like a life simulator at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of it just very quickly just fell into the trap of, like, it's a life simulator, but we're just going to give you fetch quests after fetch quests.
Okay.
Like, there is a little bit of, like, open world exploration, but it just... the worlds aren't really fleshed out enough for me to actually care. And the narration on it, the first thing I said was like, it's Ringo Starr. Like, it is...
Right. Yeah,
this is Thomas the Tank Engine from my childhood level of narration to this game. It's like, this young, fine news journalist came to this town and all that. And like, even the opening conversation between the guy and the ute that drops her off, just like, why would you want to come to a hell like it's just so British to the point it's jarring.
Thomas had never heard such bullshit before.
Yeah, but it's very weird. Like there's like a hippie witch, but at the same time, like Swervy has games like D4, yeah, that just go so out of left field that it's so engaging in its content. This just feels like, all right, let's build a life simulator, but we're just gonna make him like turn into a cat and dog as a cool feature and use that to traverse terrain and that. Like past that, it's just, I just don't care for it, and the reviews don't seem like they seem like 5 out of 10.
Oh, that's
So,
pretty rough.
Yeah, which is disappointing. Like I expected this to be like a lot better than game than what it was.
Yeah, I mean, like I haven't played a sweary game in a while. I mean, I didn't get a chance to play The Missing. I wanted to play that. I heard that was interesting at least.
I think he excels at narrative based, like closed path narrative based games like D4. Whereas in this just feels way too open.
Wait. He worked on. I'm just looking. He worked on Tomba 2 back in the day. Holy shit, that's one of my favorite games of all time. Anyway,
Interesting.
This weird thing for him to work on, like a weird side-scrolling platform with pigs.
So we talked about that. We talked about Visage quite a bit, so I don't really need to go into that. I also played the Procession of Calvary.
Oh yeah,
which is absolutely amazing. I love it.
Hilarious, right?
So like typical point and click adventure game, but like in a Renaissance kind of style, and just the humor is like, I don't watch a lot of Monty Python, but like it's very Monty Python.
Oh, it is like it's 100% Monty Python.
Yeah,
like it's all just Renaissance paintings with with just weird shit going on and fart noises and just the really people getting their heads chopped off and real dumb shit.
So I did I used a guide for this, just the text guide. So I went through, did all that. I broke the path though when you actually have to talk to the talent show and do all those narrative paths, because I kept on just jumping off the side of the bridge. Like, why isn't it getting to the next part? Like,
oh right,
because they got the frog and all that, and I'm just like, the dressmakers aren't making a dress for me. Like, what the?
Right.
But yeah, love the humor. I'm trying to think of The Magician. It's just so stupid.
Yeah, the magician. Yeah,
it's just
like I can help you walk on water. Here's a boat token.
I lost it to that. That was gold. But yeah, that's a really good one. And like, I mean, playing it without a guide, probably 2 to 3 hour experience. With a guide, like probably like an hour and a half.
Yeah, hour and a half, 2 hours maybe. Yeah, that's about what it took me. I mean, because there are like different endings, you may want to use a guide, but you could probably get through without it. There's a lot of missable stuff though.
I did like going through the second playthrough though, and just like, all right, cool. This is a kill everybody.
Yeah, this is my genocide playthrough. Yeah.
I love how it just cut like the intro to this game is just like the war is over. Wait, so you're telling me I can't kill people anymore? First thing I thought was just like, and that's when I felt personally attacked. It's so stupid, but it's such a great experience. So I finished that. After that, I started doing Into the Pit, which is essentially Doom with magic, like old school Doom with magic.
Oh, okay, yeah.
It's actually really fun in like that roguelike kind of sense of. I don't think it's too long. I think Railbait got it done like in a day or 2. Oh. But he might have had an earlier code for it. I'm not too sure with that. But the achievements look fairly reasonable. Was like save the 45 villagers. I don't know how much RNG is involved. But yeah, 10 achievements. It looks like a fairly decent list. And yeah, it's just fun. Not much to say to that other than... The only downside to the game is the trailer looked a lot better than what it does. Like, when you actually play the game, it looks like PS2 graphics. Which is disappointing, but, like, at the same time, the gameplay is amazing. Like, it is very fast-paced and fun. And that leads me to playing the Riftbreaker last night. Which...
Oh, yeah. I've heard interesting things about this.
I'm trying to... Is it defense... Yeah, it's Defense Grid. It's a defense grid with a mech that you can actually use for like exploring the map at the same time.
Yeah, I heard it kind of got compared to like tower defense meets kind of like Iron Brigade style, where it's like you're an active part in the fight, but you also build stuff.
Yeah, so you can set up your base and then you can go and like explore for new resources and do it like that. Very much real-time strategy, which was quite fun. Has some grindy achievements like build 20,000 walls. So like for an hour of the stream, it was just like, I've got a large amount of resources. Whoa. Just like randomly like placing anything everywhere to get the achievements. I think the longest thing is going to be the campaign, which I think is like 30. I don't know if it's like get to day 31 or if it's 31 missions. Because these are longer matches, like survival matches, survive for an hour and a half.
Jesus.
Yeah. So it is a longer game, but it was quite fun for what I played of it. It kind of reminds me of like old school StarCraft in a way.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
I don't know if that's a fair comparison. Just that like terrain, like being on a foreign planet, like building a base out. I think basically the game message is like taking all the resources out of the planet that was going to kill the planet. Is basically the main mission.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
So yeah, there was that. And then the main ones that I've been working on is Forza Horizon 1 and 2, which I have 2 achievements left in Forza Horizon 2, which I think I was still at the same last week. But I have done the 1,000 Car Club stuff, and I only have the getting the Forza Motorsport 3 or 4 achievement loyalty cars over to Forza Horizon, which doesn't want to work for me.
Oh, of course not. Why would it?
Oh, rip.
Yeah. So if I actually could get it working on my 360, I'd pretty much finish up this and just do a run for it. But in the meantime, I've been playing Age of Empires 2. Because I've finally gotten around to the Dawn of the Dukes DLC, which I streamed one of the campaigns the other day, which was Adwiga, which was one of the most popular queens in Poland. And essentially her story was she had an arranged marriage earlier on to this king from... I can't remember what country it was, but she had an arranged marriage. She was going to combine the 2 countries together. Then the church interfered and basically said, well, we're not doing this anymore. There's this other king that's much more powerful that's going to, help build the countries together. So that happened. Basically went through her entire time up until the point of the last campaign where for most of this time she was pregnant. She had one guy that was a duke that fought with her husband. Pretty much at that same time, the duke basically like, all right, cool. I'm going to make a peace treaty with you that basically says I'm the duke of this land, but you maintain royalty.
Right.
So it was acting as a duke to them. So they had a partnership, and then it worked well for him up until the point that she was pregnant with her child. Her child passed away 4 days after birth, and then she got a fever and passed 14 days later, which is like really sad because it was a really engaging story. And I know that back when I played the definitive edition the first time around, the narration on it didn't cut it compared to how it originally was done in 2000 or 1999. This narration for this DLC is much better.
Okay, well, that's good. Like, so I'm glad that they're still doing support for that game as well, right? Because it's an incredible game.
Yeah, like 20 years later, it holds up. Like, it's that kind of game that everything's been updated with it enough that, like, I use the nostalgia argument where you go back to an old game and it just does not hold up to what your perceived memory of it is, whereas in this does.
That's the real trick of a remaster or like a remake, right? Is that like you go back to the game, you're like, oh no, this is how I remember it looking, and then you go back to the original, you're like, oh shit.
Yeah.
It's like, man, my mind filled in a lot of blanks there, didn't it?
Pretty much it. Like, yeah, I think of it like with the old N64 stuff because that's where a lot of my childhood. Like, I have such fun memories of GoldenEye up until I played GoldenEye again.
Yeah,
and
right. Exactly.
That's
a great example. It's a great example.
Oh, GoldenEye, yeah, years and years. Oh my goodness, we would put like
The cardboard dividers.
Cardboard, yeah.
Yeah,
the cardboard.
absolutely.
We made our
No
own.
screen looking. Absolutely. No odd job.
No cheating.
Like I've said the story
Not
before.
fun.
My dad came home with an N64, played GoldenEye for like 8 hours, passed me the controller and said, "No, this is too addictive." And then just
And the rest was history. Yeah, exactly.
The rest of my history. I did start playing last night Janziska, might be Anziska, which is another DLC. It was basically like a ragtag team of like mercenaries, like being rebellious, which was around Prague, and that one's actually been like the new DLC has taken advantage of like the last campaign that I played, like all out war, like throw as many units on the map as possible and just have a full-on battle, which is good to see. Like when they had, like, you know, year 2000, the population limit upper was like 200. Now it's 500.
Right. So now you can get more on screen, and yeah, exactly.
And it's just like you think 500 units on the screen all fighting at the same time is just beautiful. And at the same time, I was in a party with Steven and hello. In the same time, I was in a party with Steven and Alex. And then I actually had the PC monitors on, and so it's like every time I got attacked, the battle noise. It was like,
yep.
It's just like, Cameron, we think you're being attacked. I'm just like, you don't say. But yeah, and then just a few other like easy crap, but that ends me on 7,750 game score.
Damn, that's pretty good.
Yeah. I had to get some easy games in there after playing such grindy stuff.
I'm with you.
I had to grab the little one. She was making a lot of thumpy thumps in the other room, and you know she's been so good this whole time. It's like, yeah, okay.
I think we're gonna wrap up relatively soon. I also want to shout out. We talked about Precision Cavalry. The guy Joe Richardson who made the game. It's part of a trilogy. So he has a previous game called Four Last Things.
Yep.
That is another point and click of it. It's not on the Xbox. I think it's like on Windows and mobile and that kind of stuff. But if you want more of that, there is more of it, and he's making a third one at the moment. And again, it's all in that Renaissance painting style.
I forgot to mention too the God aspects of the game. When it breaks the fourth dimension, it's just like, you know, what game developer would actually use this old software and all that?
I was like, wow, did you see that reaching animation? How did he do that? It's like it's pretty good.
So many good jokes in that game.
Yeah, like it's definitely like it's a short game. Definitely go and play it if you like a laugh.
All right, leaderboard for this week. We have Mad Mike Forever on 17,265. We have Mephisto for the win at 12,395. Shout out in chat and Neomaster at 10,750 because of course I come fourth this week.
Yep. No, we had to make sure we just make sure he's not on the list. Yeah. Nice and easy.
We'll get into questions.
Just knock it down a little. That's all. You know.
Yeah. Cut the legs out.
So we're getting questions. Questionnaire extraordinaire Isaac asks, "Hey guys, I'd like to play a lot of different games, but sometimes there are games that draw me in so much that I don't want to play anything else until I finish them. What games have you been hooked on and felt the need to stop doing anything else until it was finished? I'm guessing Matt's most recent was probably Hades, but what about other games thanks to the show?" Two ways to look at this too. There's games that you can play to completion, but not to achievement completion as well.
Yeah, which I never do.
Whereas I'm different. Like some games I will play to full completion, but like Hades for that was me. I played until all the narrative change was basically done, and then I just haven't had the energy to go back to it.
Yeah, I think like for me, he's 100% right with Hades. Like Hades was an extreme example. Like I was losing sleep over that. But like I've been doing this more and more with more recent games because like I've actually been, because I've been not doing as much of my backlog and doing more stuff coming to Game Pass and more interesting titles that I actually want to play and actually enjoying stuff. Rather than, I mean, again, I'm still playing a lot of trash, and I'm still going back to my backlog every now and then, but I'm sprinkling in like games that I'm actually enjoying or new stuff. Like Visage, for example, just like something that I probably would have sat in my backlog till it was going to be leaving Game Pass. Aww. Our audio listeners aren't getting it, but there's a lot of cuteness.
Yeah, you can hear the little cuteness. Hey, Jasmine, say hi. Come here. Say hi.
Hi.
There we go.
That's why you have to watch on Twitch.
Yeah,
For
exactly.
the
That's why you
little
need to
one.
come watch just on Twitch or watch the YouTube video afterwards.
Watch on Twitch so we can exploit our children for views.
Yes, 100%. I think so. It's like, yeah, so that one, so Hades, Final Fantasy X was a big one for that. Like that was one that sucked me in for 110 hours. Like I mean, I was playing a couple other things here and there, but it was the thing I just kept going back through and like spending all my time playing through. And I was dreaming about that fucking game. Because it was the perfect mix of like the perfect kind of game I like. It had a perfect amount of nostalgia, had a story that I really enjoyed, had content, like it was the perfect package. Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2 was the same. I mean, I didn't when I dropped off when I did like Birth by Sleep that kind of stuff. But when I did those two, I just sat down and did them. So I think it's a lot of it is like RPGs from my past or interesting narrative games. Because the other one was the AI Somnium Files. That like I stayed up till like 3 a.m. playing that because I just wanted, like, it was a detective story. I was interested in the narrative. I got to be involved. I got to be invested in a way that stops me from playing other stuff. I mean, I'll still, like, I didn't talk about it, but like I still doing solitaire and that kind of stuff. That doesn't really count. But in terms of like actually putting effort into a game, it really needs to grab me. And I think Life is Strange might be the next one for that. We'll see.
I'm trying to think of my last one. Yes, Your Grace was a pretty big one this year. Like, this is the thing. Like, I like to test a little bit of every game, and if I don't like it, I'll just move on. The only ones
That's why you don't complete games.
Yeah, well, that's exactly it. I don't care if like I have 500 uncompleted games on my tag though, just as long as I'm looking for that one game that really captures the magic for me.
That's fair.
I know. I just like to bust your balls, man.
Yeah, I know.
See?
Well,
I
podcast
like
is all
you.
about.
I wouldn't fuck with or mess with you if I didn't like you.
I mean, I could do the cop out answer, and I could say Forza Horizon, because Forza Horizon 4, I was waking up at 4 a.m. in the middle of the morning, playing like 2 hours, then going back to sleep, and that's the only. Like, sorry, that in Age of Empires, like I'll do sometimes.
And I'll say maybe Yakuza as well for you as well, because you put a lot of time into that.
Yeah, but like at the same time, those are like 200-hour plus completions, or like at least very heavy hours.
It's true.
Like games that I can think of this year that I've sat down and done in like one straight hit. I can think of Yes Your Grace, because it was captured me so emotionally. Falconeer, because Falconeer had that kind of vehicular combat that I would probably like I was accustomed to something like Forza Horizon. Yeah, I like that being in control element. So that's why I think I enjoyed that so much. Dirt 5, even like anything racing that's typically easy as well.
Yes, that's not like too punishing. Then there's kind of like a nice curve to it.
Like Forza Horizon is just the perfect go-to example, because I'll always enjoy those kind of games. I'm trying to think what else. But yeah,
I know for me. Oh, sorry.
Yeah. I was going to say then. Okay.
Just finish your thought, Cameron.
No. You're the host. You go right ahead.
Last one I was going to add in is, but there will be games like Kingdom Hearts and that where I won't play to completion, but I might do like a Kingdom Hearts 2 Pride mode after a few days, leave it for a few weeks, and then come back and do, Birth by Sleep or play another title.
Mike, what about you?
I know personally for me, I had when I was playing Forager. Like that's. Okay, give me 1 second, okay, sweetheart.
Forager is addictive though.
Oh, it's so mind-numbingly epic. I love it. I wish it had a double dip, like I could dip it, dip it. Yeah.
What kind of game is Forager? I don't know anything about it.
It's
I mean, I said the clue's probably in the title, but
I would
pretty much.
I would describe it as like top-down Minecraft in a way, but much more like resource collecting.
A lot of resource collecting. It's just basically you unlock islands, like you get money, and then you unlock different islands, and they bring you to different, like, there's different biomes. So like up north is winter, south is like, or mid area is like desert. But there's really no story per se. It's just mind-numbing grinding, but it's enjoyable grinding. So like it's a 40-hour completion, but it's not bad. I sat there and I pop on podcast and I was good to go.
Our podcast, obviously, yeah.
Yeah, a mixture of that and Sword and Scale.
To be fair, being in the company of Sword and Scale is actually not too bad. I'll take that.
I was gonna say, I don't think it's unfair to say it is it's addictive like a mobile game, yeah.
Right.
In that kind of sense, without the pay to play kind of mechanics. It's the kind of game that, like, if this was on a mobile, people would be playing it all day, like they play Candy Crush.
Right. Okay.
Oh, indeed, yeah.
That makes sense. Are there any others, Mike?
Well, you see, I've had a lot of I personally like the one. Jasmine, what are you doing, love? Oh no, that's not Jasmine. That's Lily. Come here, Lily. Come here. She was trying.
I'm trying to avoid you. Okay.
Come here. I'm trying to avoid you.
Sweet. Hey, Lily, why don't you just come say hi real quick? Here, come look in the camera. There you go.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi.
They're all saying hi. Okay, go help your sister.
When
okay?
did Mike get a southern accent?
Oh, okay. All right.
I'm just falling back. I also need a refill of snacks.
You see, this is getting to the time. Hey, you know what? They have been good this whole time.
They've been really good.
They
They've been really
really
good.
have. I gave them the riot act, and I was like, listen here, you guys are not going to get electronics if you guys keep bugging me.
Jesse, I'm gonna put
All
you to
right,
bed, okay? I'm gonna put you to bed, okay?
Oh, I'm going to put her to bed, too.
Okay, Mom, you can keep
Aww.
All right.
All right.
So-
You're so sweet.
We got one last question. We'll just quickly go through. From Robbie, who asks, question for all three of you: if you could get one game to have a sequel, what game would it be?
I'm gonna say it right here.
Mm-hmm. Spec Ops: The Line 2. That would be. I don't know how the fuck you would do that, but I love the idea.
Yeah.
Human Fall Flat, too. Please.
Yeah.
Oh,
I want more. I want more.
Mm-hmm.
Oh God, now it's falling on me. What am I gonna pick? I don't know.
What else have I got in this pile of shame? More Splinter Cell games.
Yeah, so you need to read it out because we do have people who listen to it.
Oh yeah, true. Shit. Driver San Francisco.
Actually, Driver San Francisco would be a really good one.
I don't know. Ubisoft just has this habit of they just have really. I don't know if this is the right thought to go down, but they have these really successful franchises, and some of them they just don't explore further.
I mean, yeah, that's the classic.
But then at the same time,
Splinter Cell issue, right?
Far Cry, Watch Dogs, and all that making money. So,
I want a sequel to Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. I mean, I know they're probably going to do one.
wasn't it confirmed?
I'm pretty sure it is, but I haven't seen it, so I want it. Otherwise, don't know. Most of the stuff I did get a sequel, whether it's good or not. You know, Mass Effect got Mass Effect 2.
I'm looking through this pile, and stuff is getting sequels to it too, Outer Worlds. DCL game too. Drone Championship League games. That could work. Go for 95 cents, whatever.
What about 13 minutes? It'd be, you
Yeah,
know,
13 minutes, yeah,
grandma
exactly,
and grandma, you know?
Like I said, I want that.
Oh my God.
Alan Wake.
Yeah, actually, Alan Wake's a good one. Yeah,
yeah.
Alan Wake really does need a sequel. Control could probably be a sequel.
The what was it? The American Nightmare thing, or is that just
So that's
technically
out.
an expansion?
It was an XBLA game that they made, but it was kind of like a pseudo sequel, maybe spin-off. I mean, I would have said Plague Tale, but that's getting a sequel. We've seen.
A lot of these games here too are already are the sequels.
Yeah.
Agents of Mayhem too.
No, Agents of Mayhem does not need a sequel. Yeah, maybe
LA Noire.
LA Noire could have used a sequel. I think. It definitely needed it would need to be a very different sequel.
Yeah.
Press X to doubt.
Yeah. Bulletstorm, I think would have had a good sequel. I think.
All right. Actually, I've got a good one, and it's going to be very controversial. But Call of Duty Ghosts. I really want that cliffhanger settled.
I was going to say, yeah, I guess so. Yeah, I was just looking at that game actually.
Ghost was like one of those games that it didn't push the envelope enough for next gen back then, but it had a really engaging campaign. Like, I really like the idea of a worldwide orbital system being used against the American states. And then basically just digging their way out of the apocalypse.
Yeah. And then, the sort of cliffhanger they put it on. Yeah, I mean,
so good.
I guess I think that nowadays most of the stuff that I'm actually interested in gets a sequel. I mean, like, I like another sequel to The Darkness too.
Yes.
They need a third one to wrap up the trilogy. I think that's probably the correct answer.
I'm still upset the fact that the 2 is so comic book styled compared to 1.
Yeah, I mean, like, I'm fine with it. Like, it's a different kind of game, and I'm okay with it because I really enjoyed 1 for what it was, but 2 is kind of its own cool different thing, and I'd like to see what they would do with 3, but like Starbreeze basically doesn't exist anymore. So any other answers, guys?
Banjo-Kazooie.
Yeah, well, yeah.
How about Evil Inside? Ooh, you ever played that piece of crap? Oh
yeah,
God.
I'm trying to think of that outside the typical story genres too.
Yeah.
Fusion Frenzy 2 would be good.
I mean,
like an updated one.
Like a third one.
Oh, is there a second?
The first one was on the original Xbox. Second one was on 360. Yeah.
Ah, okay. I missed that.
Bill Gates' favorite game, apparently. All right. Well, let's get into thanking our patrons.
Yep. All right.
Do you want me to go through the list?
Yeah, you can go through the list.
Sure. So I just give a thanks out to Mad Lefty, who's in the chat. Gary, Admiral Awesome, Odrin, Jason, Todd, Moogle, 356, Charlotte, Kung Fu Skills, Tyler, Hack and Pone, Thomas, good old Brad, and McLovin Legend.
Yeah.
Those are our patrons. We really appreciate all the support you guys have given us. Some of them for a very long time. Especially like Hack and Pone and Thomas and Brad and Kung Fu. Like the guys have been with us for so long. We really appreciate it. We could not do the show without you guys. So thank you so much. We'll have new content out for you guys soon.
I was gonna quickly say quick shout out to Charlotte,
as always.
Well. And I was gonna say that I will be on Odrin and Connor's podcast Indie Insights tonight as well in about 6.5 hours. If you're listening to this live, I know that Odrin had you on last week, and that was pretty entertaining to watch.
I was on last week. That was a good one. We went massively off topic very quickly, so it was great.
Persephone was actually pointing on your screen. It was adorable.
Aww.
And Nikita was just like, "Oh, that's Cameron's friend." I'm like, I don't know if you'd call him a friend.
Yeah, it's
pain in the ass more like
and antagonists. It's fine. We'll figure it out. If you want to get in contact with us, you can email us at hallofgamerspodcast@gmail.com. Twitter is at hallofgamerspod. Discord, discord.io/realgamerscore, and patreon.com/hallofgamers. Also, come see us on the Twitch. I post whenever we're going live on Twitch, basically as soon as we go live, but it's usually on Fridays. Today it's Saturday, but usually around then. Best place to keep up to date with anything is Twitter and Discord.
Every, at least for a little while, we're probably going to do Fridays one fortnight and Saturday mornings the next fortnight. Just gives the Americans a little bit more of a chance to watch live, especially when we're doing it 4 a.m. usually on the Friday their time.
Yeah, exactly.
It also lets us get our American viewers on the show, which is good.
Yeah, I was really interested in how it was going to go, because I really thought you'd see children in the background running with knives and forks and stuff, trying to stab each other.
I mean, if I was a 10-year-old and my parents were doing a podcast, I know that there'd be a small story just playing in the background every 15 minutes of maybe there's a Tom and Jerry scenario where I'm chasing after.
It's just like that episode of Community where there's a whole plot going on and there's a subplot of Abed delivering a baby, Just like never referenced, just sitting in the background the whole time.
Wasn't that built around the fact that a woman was actually pregnant on set and delivered the baby?
So.
They backtracked.
Really?
They backtracked and put it into it, yeah.
Which
so
is just
they
gold.
put it back into the thing because she
No,
wasn't
that's
pregnant anymore.
nuts.
Anyway,
I love Community. Such a good show.
Yeah, great show.
I gotta watch it. You guys keep talking about it.
It's the first season is just like top tier.
Yeah. You can avoid like I think the fourth season.
Third and fourth season are a bit rough. First two seasons are really, really good.
It usually starts to go downhill around that with any kind of series you watch.
They got rid of Dan Harmon on one of the seasons.
Dan Harmon, the guy who does
Rick and Morty.
Rick and Morty, yeah. This was the thing he did before that. If you want to help out the podcast in other ways, you subscribe to us on your platform of choice, leave us a review, tell us you left a review, tell your friends. Word of mouth, as always, is always the biggest thing for us. We always talk about it in our boosting parties. I try to talk about the podcast a fair amount with people that I talk to in the gaming space, because I like, as much as I want to shill the shit out of this, and make heaps of money and retire early. I actually do like really enjoy doing the show, and like I love talking to the community and having members on and things like that. It's fantastic, and occasionally working with Cameron.
Thanks. I know, but just to further extend on that, it's nice to actually dive deep into our niche of a niche, and just find out like how different we are.
Mm-hmm. And how wrong other people are exactly.
Thanks, buddy.
No, I didn't say you.
It was implied.
He was implying that at
know.
me. I know what you're getting at. No Fable Heroes for you.
Yeah, all right, well.
Yes, I am number one. Thank you.
If you want to get in contact with me, you can find me on Neomaster on True Achievements, Xbox, and Discord. Mike, what about you?
I'm an antisocial hermit. Leave me alone.
Perfect. That's a perfectly reasonable answer. Yeah, absolutely.
No, honestly, I hang out in AHA, like Achievement Hunters Anonymous. I don't really use any other kind of social media thing besides that. I'm a boomer, so it's just, if you want to get a hold of me, just go to AHA and we'll have a blast in there.
Yeah, we use
just look for the most inappropriate GIF, and it's probably her.
Probably,
we use Discord in this day and age just so we can share the most non-safe for work memes around.
They've gotten real bad. They've gotten real bad recently.
Oh, they really have.
Jesus Christ. Cameron, what about you?
You can find me in Shadowless Edge and pretty much anything. It's either got a space or it doesn't. Or you can find me creating stuff, because that's like what I like to do.
Fantastic. And just, so a big shout out to Charlotte, as always, for moderating the chat and making clips and helping edit, proofread the show once I finish editing and that kind of stuff. She's an amazing person, and she does great work for literally no money. In fact, she gives us money because she's one of our Patreons. So we got a real sweet deal there. And thank you so much, Mike, for being on the show with us and taking time out of your busy schedule to come and talk shit with us.
Yeah, it's been a blast, guys. I had an absolute blast on here. Time flies. And when I hit 1 million, does that mean Charlotte's gonna pay more attention to me?
Probably. She might actually talk to you, which would be like, I know, right?
Why do you think you've been playing easy games this week?
Yeah, exactly. Just gotta rack up those points. Gotta get the steroid injection of achievements.
Notice me.
All right, well, that's going to wrap up episode 15 of Hall of Gamers. We'll catch you guys next week. Goodbye.